Oh shit, tells you. But yeah, so anyways, I was technically obese. I think I was like
Yeah.
230. I was like at 230, something like that.
And you're a
And,
tall guy. You were at 230. You made it up there.
oh yeah, like when it happened though, when I think of how I got to that point, because after the military, I was like 160,
Yeah.
165,
How tall
like
are you?
6'2" ish,
Yeah.
6'2",
Uh-huh.
fluctuate, But I was always like 160, 165, and
Yeah.
I get out, and I think it's part of it is because like the whole regiment of working
You didn't have people yelling at you saying, get up off your ass.
and just
And
doing actual work. Like I
yeah.
started working at Lowe's. It's not the same type of work, It's like
You weren't picking up lumber every day, you know?
driving a forklift, just bullshitting
Okay. Okay.
and drinking beer,
At Lowe's while you're driving the forklift.
going to school, and I mean a lot of sitting down compared to
Yeah.
what I was doing before.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I put on weight hella fast actually. Like from age I got out, was like 22? 22 to let's say 25, even just a 3-year span. I probably put on like 40 pounds easily. I was
Yeah.
for sure over 200.
Wait, when did you meet Natalie?
Oh shit, what year is that? 2010.
You're
2010.
gonna have it right there.
I don't. It's 2010. I got back. Shit, is it 2011?
This guy doesn't remember when he met his wife.
I'm gonna cut this out. No, I think it was,
Yeah, edited.
I think it was 2010 because I came back. Maybe it was early 2011.
You can edit this part and then I'll ask the question and then you'll just be like 2011. That's when it was right there.
2011. Now I'm thinking about it because I was on deployment 2010 and I came back and I met her in that summer or that like spring summer, I guess. She said I met her before that, before we started dating, or like I met her.
Did you date her before you turned into this lethargic, lazy bum?
Yeah.
Okay, that's why it worked. You already locked her in, and then you could just plateau.
Well, then my last year in the Navy, I was up in Washington and we were dating at the time. So I was like, and stationed up in Washington, there ain't nothing. Yeah. It snowed all the time. Actually, that's where I probably put on some weight because I was working out. So I got to like maybe 170, maybe. So it's just like work, basketball, and lifting weights, and then that was it. And Skyping her or whatever, messaging her all day. But that was about it. Then I got out and just like shit.
How did you meet her?
Oh man, it's kind of crazy. But like I think it was like a year before we went on deployment. My friend Trey and I met these girls at a bar.
You're picking up girls at a bar.
Diego, downtown. There's this, I think it's called Ed's Mexican Grill or Mexican, something like that. But after a certain time, they start checking IDs. So we got in there way before.
Yeah.
And just hung around. So it was like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock when they start checking IDs. So we're in there. Now we can buy drinks. So now they're thinking, oh, these guys have been in here the whole, they just came in or whatever. So we started buying drinks. We met these girls that went to SDSU. Befriended them. And then like after the deployment.
Befriended them?
Became friends with them.
You were trying to pick up girls in the bar. Is that what I'm hearing? Sailors trying to go to the bar, underage drinking and picking up girls.
Is that 19 years old,
Okay. Okay.
But then, we came back from deployment and we still talked to these girls. We met up with them and we went to a couple house parties with them and stuff, and kind of just ran to my now wife through that.
So she wasn't the one at the bar.
No, yeah.
Oh, that's why you're hesitant to say pick up. You're like, oh, I just befriended them. And then I met the love of my life at this. You met her at a house party? Yeah,
it was at a house party.
Uh-huh.
Kind of cool. She said I met her before that in her dorms. I do not remember that at all. She's like, hey. She was like, you were in my dorm, and she's like, you were too cool to hang out. I was like, she's
like, look at that handsome guy.
Yeah.
Oh, what's up? It's Hudson. He's like, get out of my room, Dad.
He's like, what the hell? Well, he just got home. But yeah, so that's how we met. And lucky enough. What
did you hit it off right there? You know what I mean? Did it feel like, oh, we just sort of know each other, and then You're looking like you don't even remember, bro.
Well, shit, it's like 12 years ago.
You're supposed to have that story embedded in your mind, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, when I first met my wife, I don't remember the first time. She remembers. I was in my dorm.
Yeah, I remember when I first met her. Hold on, let me close the door. Watch out. Yeah, so when I first met her at the house party, she had in their garage they were playing beer pong and stuff, and she had these super short shorts on, tanned up. You know, I'm like 19. I'm like, hey, like that's what's up. You probably hear him crying in the background. I was like, hey, that's what's up. You know, like I like her. I thought she was super hot. I was like, all right, this is cool. And I started talking to her. I remember I gave her my phone number. Hella corny. How corny is this?
So a guy giving a girl his phone number? That's pathetic, bro.
Is it?
That's pathetic. You got to get her number. It's like an action that needs. I mean, you're lucky that you skated in.
Yeah, but so I sent her. I think it was a Facebook message too. How lame is that? I was like, hey, I'm not sure if any of your friends gave you my number yet, but here it is. Something corny like that, you know.
So you didn't even give her your number in person?
No, I didn't. I think I sent that message to her in my friend's car while they were walking. Her and her friends were walking to go get there's a Mexican food place on the end of their block.
Mm-hmm.
Go get chicken chips or something, and I sent her a freaking Facebook message.
Yeah, that's Travis's game.
Super romantic, man. You know, that's how I keep him. That's how I used to keep him around back in the day. Facebook,
I don't know if you don't want me to tell the stories from you back in the day.
Depends on which ones.
Yeah. I was thinking about it. I was like, does he want me to tell him? Is his wife going to listen to this? I mean, you were just a great guy, Travis.
We had some fun times in high school, for sure.
We sure did. I was trying to think, you know, because like you don't remember meeting your wife for the first time. I don't really remember when we hit it off. I remember we were in Schiffman's English class.
Yeah.
And
that's right.
We became close, but I don't know. I don't remember our origin story there.
Me neither. That's kind of, yeah, we were in his class. I knew it was an English class. I couldn't remember his name.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we sat next to each other and he'd get mad at us because we just talk, or I'd fall asleep sometimes. So it's probably these fucking guys over here.
Yeah.
Just a pain in my ass.
He was kind of a dick, but
shut up. I think he even moved us one time. I think we got moved.
Mm-hmm.
If I remember right. I was thinking about it. I'm pretty sure he put us opposite ends of the room. He's kids are just I don't even know him, dude. I just met him. This is my first time to meet this guy.
I'm like, why am I getting in trouble? I remember in the class, you were going to get me the job, and I was asking you about the job. Travis's dad was the manager at this restaurant, Baker Square.
Oh man, yeah.
What'd you say?
I said, oh yeah.
Yeah. And I was so neurotic and nervous about this whole thing. And I was trying to have you tell me who all these people were. And I was taking notes, and you're like, dude, it doesn't matter. Who gives a shit? I'm like, who is this? You know, and you're giving me this list, and you're like,
Oh, that was a good job for high school. You know,
I had so much fun at that job.
It was good enough. It always got busy enough to where you can still bullshit. At work. I think that was a good crew though. If I remember, we had a good mix of people are just having a good time shooting in the back and doing crap you're not supposed to do. But I mean,
do you remember Dan? Dan's the white guy. He had a little bit of facial thing going on, and he had gauges, or
vaguely. Now that
he was I think he was 20. I thought he was way older, but it was just because
I do know who you're talking about now.
He was doing drugs all the time and drinking and doing all this crazy shit.
I do know who you're talking about now. He was kind of tall dude, right? If I remember, if I'm thinking about the same guy.
He was a pale white guy with some facial hair. And there was Phil, his like awkward friend. And there was
always an awkward Phil somewhere. I worked with the awkward Phil at Lowe's too. I don't know.
Did you?
Yeah, there's just a Phil's.
It's a pattern.
Yeah.
And Sarah, of course. Sarah.
Yeah.
Did you ever talk to her?
I think I did a while back on Instagram. Nothing crazy. You know, because she was someone of her Do you have her on Instagram by chance?
I have her on
But
Facebook.
but she
I
has
don't know
like she posts like stuff, and I forget what it was, but I was like, oh, I agreed with whatever she said. But that's
Just
it.
posting some political shit, and you're like, yeah,
Yeah, like I get
fuck
it.
Mexicans. I hate those.
I'm only half Mexican,
Yeah, I know. That's why I can say it.
Hey, that's what confuses people. You should see. So I took my some clothes to the dry cleaners. Tell the guy my name's Travis Bermley.
Uh-huh.
My receipt or whatever. Put Chavez,
Uh-huh.
C-A-Z-E,
Uh-huh.
or B-E, whatever it was. And then he spelled Bermley Birrmalay or something like that. I'm like, damn.
Nice.
Like, so every time I go there and I get my receipts, I've been there a few times now.
He's like, Chavez.
Yeah. I haven't even told him that's not right. I've been there like 5 times. Like, it makes
What are
me
you getting dry cleaned so much, dude?
Oh, like dress pants and shirts and shit.
Press?
Yeah. I don't press stuff anymore. I'm not in the Navy.
Get new pants, dude. What do you just put it in the dryer, dude? Trust me, I wouldn't be going to the dry cleaners, bro. Are you serious? I'd just buy new clothes.
Let's get them in there, get them pressed. You just buy new ones? Must be nice.
I don't have I wrote a whole article about I don't have high maintenance shit like that. It's like I have a suit, and if I wear that, then I can get that dry clean. But all my other clothes, why would I go to the
it's
put them in the dryer?
Yeah, I don't take them all the time. It's just like a dress shirt because we're going to a wedding like next week. So I dress pants and a dress shirt.
Dude, you've been to this dry cleaner 5 times. How many weddings have you
over the years? Because I'm still taking my freaking comforter and
your comfort. This is crazy.
Yeah,
never heard of this.
Luxury at its finest.
That's what I wanted to ask you. I actually have this written down. How do you see yourself race-wise?
That is a good question. I don't know. I never really thought. I have thought about it, I guess. I'm not gonna say I haven't. I think of it this way, just because I've been to so many parts of around the world now, so many countries, and every country I've ever been to, they're like, "Oh, you're an American." There's no, "Oh, you're."
You're giving one of those answers. You're just an American.
No, because that's how the world views us. I feel like.
Yeah.
And the people, like in some of the ports I went to, was myself, my friend from Louisiana, and our friend from Detroit. We're all different. He's a big old black dude, got Southern white boy, and you got myself, who's like a hybrid.
Uh-huh.
But everywhere we went, we were treated all the same. They were like, "Oh, you're black, so whatever. We hate you more than these guys," or "You're white, so we like you," or whatever. It's like, no, you're American. We fucking hate you, basically. Mm-hmm. Especially in Japan. We went to Japan, man. They throw up like an X at some places, like, "Get the hell out here!" Like you're not.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Our ship pulled up, so we're coming in our ship, and they have like little tugboat fishing boats, and they're all telling us to go home, and like, we're not.
Damn.
That's why I say American, and because it's funny because every other country around the world, if you're born in that country, that's what you are. Like Anderson Silva, perfect example. I forget who brought this up one time. It was another MMA fighter. But Anderson Silva's black skin, but he identifies as a Brazilian because he's from Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Fabricio Werdum now I'm thinking about, because he called it Cain Velasquez on. He's like saying he's Mexican. He's like, well, he's born in America. He's not Mexican.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's some truth to that, I think. But I know that's not everybody thinks that way, because I also don't think a lot of people have left the country enough to understand when I tell them that. They're like, oh yeah, just American. Oh, that's American of you. It's like, well, because that's how the rest of the world views me. They don't view me as, oh, this guy's a Mexican white dude or something. It's like,
but you told me how everybody else is viewing you. How does Travis view?
That's how I view myself. That's how I view myself. Because I guess, I never really thought about it until I went around the world. It's like, damn, I'm actually an American. That's who I am. I am an American.
Mm-hmm.
It's like all patriotic, gun ho, shoot guns in the air, but it's like, that's what we are to the world, and that's actually what I am. I'm born here. I don't speak Spanish. I don't do anything like that. I've never been to Mexico, so I can't say I'm Mexican. I mean, never been to, like, what's white to, my parents, they're from all over the place. It could be, my white people are Swedish, they're Italian, they're all these different things.
You got that crazy Lincoln blood in there.
Oh yeah. Well, not his, but his first wife's, yeah. Which is you remember that. Holy crap.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah. The Todds. Yeah, it's like that side of the family.
Crazy Mary Todd.
Yeah, his first wife. But so I don't know. That's a good question, but
I think it's interesting because after I left the Central Valley, I lived in all these like academic liberal places.
Mm-hmm.
And with the culture wars, I don't know how much you're like tapped into that. But your answer, I feel like, it's a very like that area answer. Like your answer is like, I'm a good guy country answer. Like you're not given like the Confederate flag, like the people at the redneck shit kickers in our high school, which, I'm not saying they're racist, but I'm saying they wouldn't give that answer, right? You're like, I'm a good guy. I'm not racist.
They would say I'm American because I'm like, freaking, yeah.
But I feel like the liberals the like very hyper liberal social justice warrior people, or the people in the academic circles, I feel like would be like, oh, I can't, that's not a real answer. We're talking like, we're getting nitty gritty. And I think that's an interesting evolution that's happened, because I feel like people who quote unquote weren't racist or like, are just like, oh, I'm just, I treat you as a person.
Mm-hmm.
You may be black from Detroit, you may be Louisiana, I don't know, Bayou kind of guy, but I'm just, we're all people. But I feel like you can't say that anymore in these circles. It'd be like, oh no, you need to be.
Well, I mean, you can barely even do that even within America and in itself. Like you hear all these things. When I see a California license plate and I live in Texas, I start to puke. I'm like, well, dude, fucking A, man. It's like, get out of your little hole in the wall place that you live in and fucking experience the world. I think that's what gets me frustrated sometimes when I get into like, even I hear like race arguments and stuff, and like whatever. I don't know how it is to be black in America, obviously, or whatever, or any other ethnicity other than my own, I guess, if you want to go that route. But it's like, dude, if you were to just pick up the most racist white guy and the most anti-white black guy, and the three of us, four of us go freaking Thailand, guess what? They're going to hate us all the same. They're not going to hate us differently. They're going to look at us all. It's very humbling experience when you experience it, I think. I don't know, to see, I guess you can actually, gives you some insight, if never really thought about it super in depth before, but maybe how some ethnicities deal with stuff here in America, being, an immigrant and viewed differently from people in America or someone of color. And it's like, oh shit, like different experience. You kind of get a taste of maybe what some folks might go through here. But I don't know. That's why like when I brought up that whole I'm American thing, one of the things I always get back to, like, it's because you're conservative, you're hardcore conservative. I'm like, no, I feel like I'm pretty even keeled on most things.
Because he's a racist. Racist.
Like I got liberal things I agree with. I got conservative ideologies or beliefs that I'm all for. But
you're just a mix and match, Travis. You're just above all that tribal stuff.
Well, I'm not sure how you are with it, but it's like I don't like to put my one thoughts into one bucket, all my beliefs. And I think like I forget who I was talking to about this actually just recently. But like a lot of people vote even because, I'm just a Democrat, I'm just a Republican. Yeah. It's like, so you vote based on your party, you don't base on anything anybody's saying, any research, any facts. You're not looking into anything. You're literally just going to vote for somebody.
But everybody's dumb. That's most of the people.
Isn't that the craziest thing in the world though? Like it blows my mind sometimes. When I think of it, it's like, well, that's why nothing ever gets accomplished. I'm like, shit.
So for our listeners, Travis, let's give a brief bio of Travis. Travis grew up the Central Valley of California. To me, a place that I hated. I couldn't stand the Central Valley. But I had a different experience in Travis. Travis just had a great time. And then during high school, we can go back to Baker Square, but during high school, you and your family moved to Texas.
Yeah, my last year of high school.
Yeah. And why did your dad did you guys move because he had a job there, or what was the deal?
I don't know the full reason why they moved. I know my grandparents retired and they moved to New Mexico, so it's kind of, I think because they sold like it was cheaper. That was like one of those original spurts of when Californians were flocking to Texas. I mean, I think the house they bought was bigger and the land, more land, and it was a lot cheaper than what they had in California at the time. So maybe that's why they did it. I'm not entirely sure why they did, but that'd be my guess because it makes sense.
How was it for you?
I hated it.
Yeah.
I hated it. Like one of the things I hated, I got called California kid a lot. I thought it was kind of stupid. Like, California kid. But they're like, oh, you're a California kid. You're a California kid. Like when California Love would come on, I remember at, I think it was our senior party or some graduation party. Yeah. Somebody's like, hey, dude, they're playing your song. I'm like, oh, I love it. Don't get me wrong. I love the song, but damn. So just because I'm from there, like, what if I was a hardcore rock and roller and that's all I'd listen to? So you're just going to pluck me out from wherever the hell.
I think it's also weird because when people know I'm from California, they think I'm from like surfing and hanging out in LA, and I was doing, movie stars are walking by, or they think LA usually, and then San Francisco. And it's like, no, I grew up, it was more agricultural than this place. It was the country. Yeah. It was more conservative than most of the places I've ever lived. And so it's different than the California that they think.
Well, that's most of California, I think, is actually that agricultural. Yeah. It's just smaller communities. It's all spread out.
Yeah. Like, but most of the land is like that.
Yeah. Most of the land's like that. And that's what my wife and I were just talking about this last time. We saw a California commercial and it showed San Diego and LA and San Francisco, like, come to California and your dreams will like come true. And it's like, man, people literally think it's 3 cities, like everything from Bakersfield to Sacramento is just, what the hell is that? That's all of our produce.
I know everything.
Our almonds that by the world and stuff. But it's that's what trips me out. Yeah, because when I went to Texas, even when I first got in the Navy, everybody's like, oh, you surf, man, are you a surfer? And it's like, yeah, I look like a surfer. Maybe I don't know. Like, that's a weird assumption to make off somebody. That's like, ride bowls. I don't think I ever said to anybody, but it's like, damn, I should have asked them when I went to Texas. But do you all ride bowls and shoot from the hip? Are you guys cowboys? Like, what you guys?
Yeah, dude, that should have been you. You didn't have the personality enough to bully him. To bully him back, dude. You're too nice of a guy.
Exactly. Well, I've been bullied in junior high and high school.
At Ross? You got bullied?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
By who?
I'm not going to put people's names on blast, but
after the call, I want to know who bullied you.
They're the popular kids. I don't ever know why it happened. Like, but because I had moved there 6th grade. My parents moved to Houston.
From where?
From Modesto.
Wow. From the big city.
Yeah, I didn't even know Houston was a place. It's like,
and everybody thinks it's Houston.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Mm-hmm. I mean, we ended up moving to Texas eventually, but it's like, damn, that's what I thought. I was like, oh my God, we're going to Texas. But yeah, I went there. I don't know why I got bullied, but the popular kids kind of bully me. And then same thing with basketball. It's actually the reason why I quit playing basketball freshman year of high school. I just stopped playing because of it. It just wasn't fun anymore because I was like, been threatened. My brother had to come pick me up one day.
Ernie had to come save you?
Yeah, man. I was just kids our age. It was like juniors and seniors also. So
now I'm curious about who. I'll have to hear after the call about who.
I mean, this is kind of effed up, I guess, a little bit, but it's made me feel better now looking back or seeing where some of those individuals are, or at least the main one. And I'm like,
somebody's popping into my head that isn't doing too well. So I wonder if that's because this individual that we're talking about also bullied some other people. I didn't interact with him because I didn't go to Ross. And then in high school, it was like, but I wonder if it's the same person.
It probably
the person who was bullied. I asked him, because I knew that this guy bullied him. And I was like, do you feel good about, he's like, hell yeah, I do. I feel great about where he's at.
I kind of do now too.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, I'm not sure if I never did anything about it. Like, if it were to just been him, I probably would have done something at the time. But it was a fact because he had an older sibling that went to our high school, so his friends, he had like the backing
Was
of.
his older sibling a girl?
Yes, you know
Okay.
what I'm talking about.
Okay.
So you know who I'm talking about then. So
Mhm.
he had like these older friends also, which I mean, I think that's what kind of made him the way he was. Also, it's like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, who's gonna mess with me? I got friends that are juniors and
Yeah.
fucking seniors. They're like grown ups basically. Like, okay, I don't know where it ever stemmed from. Um, to be honest, because I never really went out my way to talk to him or anything. But I like the
Well,
things.
did you share a class with him, or how was he singing? Because I never interacted with him.
Oh, basketball because he played basketball.
Okay.
I like things because I was better than him.
Yeah.
Probably. Not he might have been better than me, to be honest. I don't really remember.
It's probably because you're more handsome too.
Back then I wasn't. Let's be real. I had pimples and braces, man. I was a fucking hot mess with the flat
So
top. I had a flat
I'll let Travis trash him, but for our listeners, Travis was a very good looking. I mean, now he's just kind of a schlub, but back in high school, Travis was a good looking guy. We'll have to talk about the early days later, but Travis had a little bit. Travis had like a goofy guy game. I remember you were like, you talk about with this body. That was one of your lines. You'd be like, with this body, and we had at Baker Square at the restaurant we worked at. We'll have to get into this later, but there was a very cute older woman that worked there.
Oh,
Travis would flirt with Barbara. New car smell. I remember that was one of your lines.
That didn't work apparently. Damn, I forgot about her. Yeah.
You can't forget about Barbara.
Man, those are some fun days, man.
Oh yeah.
I pursued that hard in high school, knowing that would never ever happen.
Dude, I felt like, have you ever seen the movie Waiting?
That's us, dude.
Yeah.
There was I always I've told a story. Remember the chick Yvonne that worked there? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I was going to describe her she was a, how do we say this? She was a free-spirited girl, very open.
Don't piss her off too if you're a customer, man. Like
really,
one of the like main memories I have of her. I have how they had the little wine bottles and you pour in the glass, and one of her customers was like, "Oh man, the glass is just too dirty." So she said like three or four times. She sent the glass back. Excuse me. So she brought it back. She's like, "Fuck that bitch." She spit in it and started rubbing it with her finger. She's like, "I hope it's clean now." And I was like,
Jesus Christ, dude.
You know, how old were you? 16?
Yeah. I felt like it was, that job was where it was my first like real job. Like I'd worked before, but it was like working with like coworkers, and it was just like off the wall cowboy shit, you know, like it was like Waiting, where everybody's just got their own personalities. They're all doing crazy shit. But Yvonne, so were you close with Yvonne?
No, I wasn't, but I worked with her a few times. That was like the one memory I really remember of her.
Yeah.
She used to sit on the counters and she was kind of a.
Have you looked her up?
No, I haven't.
Do you know her last name? You don't have to tell me her last, but on the call.
I don't know her last name.
I don't know it, but because I'm wondering how much I can talk about. But I remember catching her and another person, Carlos. Do you remember Carlos?
Yeah, his name sounds. See, you know all these people.
I remember. You've been drinking too much. Carlos was like the hardworking Mexican guy. He had a brother, Fernando or something.
His name sounds super familiar though.
But and then Phil, remember Awkward Phil? Okay, so earlier in the story, you remember me mentioning Awkward Phil.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's Dan. Dan really liked Yvonne, right? And then he wanted to get with Yvonne, and he was just like putting on all these moves to try to get with Yvonne. And then Awkward Phil ended up getting with Yvonne. And it was like, and him and Dan were close, and it was like this, I felt bad for Dan. I was like, damn, dude, that sucks, bro.
Damn, that does suck.
And then there was that girl, Ashley. You remember Ashley?
Oh, the manager.
No, Heather. That's Heather.
Oh, there was a. So
no, not the one you're thinking of. Not the cute, the super cute I don't remember her name. That's who you're thinking of, right?
Yeah, because my
Yeah.
dad got in the way of that one actually. You know,
Really?
thinking of who I'm thinking of. There's Heather when we first got hired.
Heather's the blonde one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
No, I remember when I first started working there was a really cute girl. She was like short, right? Are we talking about the same person?
Probably not.
This is the one that you seem to like be interested in, but then she left.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about now. Yeah, but it wasn't her. There was another one that I got. I almost, man, I kind of like did it to myself of not being able to like hook up with her. I'm not going to go into detail, but I kind of got in my own way on that one.
What was her name?
I can't remember her name though.
And she was a manager?
She ended up becoming one, I think, because
she worked there while I was there. Travis doesn't remember anything. This guy.
Oh man, we're well talking like 16 years ago.
Was she Mexican-ish?
I think so. She was probably more white than Hispanic, but
yeah.
She was a waitress and she became a manager. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I was her little movement there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it started one day. She said something to me and I was cleaning some dishes or something. I was in the back. I had like a rag. I was like, oh my God, what? And I kind of got my own way. Those are my.
What does that mean? Like you were like nervous?
No, because I pulled a rookie move. I mean, 16 years old. It's like, holy crap. And she's older. I think she's like 18, 19, maybe even older. My parents had went out to like a concert or something. And I told my dad, I was like, oh man, can I go over? For some reason, I asked my dad. It's like the most un-16-year-old thing to do.
Dude, did your dad say no? Because that's fucked up.
He did. He said no.
Dude, next time I see your dad, I'm gonna be like, what the fuck is wrong with you, dude? Are you serious?
But I did it to myself instead of just saying, hey, can we hang out? Like it was you, me, and Tanner sure. A lot.
Or Tanner, yeah. We got to talk about Tanner stories.
Yeah. There's this one, I'll get to it after this. But yeah, so I kind of got my own way because I was like, my dad's like, no, she's a manager. And I was like, well, kind of. I screwed myself. But I screwed myself because I shouldn't have asked him. And from the get-go. I actually told this story to my brother just a couple weekends ago when I was up in Northern California. And he's like, yeah, you kind of dropped the ball.
Travis has been regretting this. Whoever this girl is, sorry, Travis doesn't remember your name, but he's been regretting it for 15 years. Or like,
how do I remember that?
Almost 20 years. This guy's been the one that got away.
No, not that one. That one. Yeah, that would have been like a fling. But I don't know. All these little things set me up for a pretty adventurous 18, 19, 20-year-old life. So it's all good.
Missing out, you were like, I got to get after it now. I got to start picking up girls in bars.
The flat top is gone. Yeah. So, but anyways, how have you been, man? We talking a lot about me. How have you been? I've read some of your stuff the other day.
You were preparing for the interview?
No, because I've read some of your stuff before, and that's why I brought the whole. I think you mentioned bowling first, or maybe I did, because I reread it. I read it when you first mentioned it. I think you posted something about it, and then I was like, man, and I started clicking through your stuff, and I saw it again. I was like, man, that was a good one. And he had the picture of us.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Travis was like, I'm in it.
I was like, holy crap. I was like, yeah, this is crazy. I went to boot camp right after that picture was basically taken. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Like, man, obviously I didn't know some of the stuff people said to you, and I don't think people that get bullied talk about it with their friends. I didn't.
Well, and I think a lot of that was before we met, because it was in middle school. Like you got bullied in middle school and some of freshman year, and I got bullied in middle school, and then I just snapped and became, violent asshole. But
all those steak knives. You wrote about them, and it cracked me up. I was like, fuck, man, I remember those guys taking fucking steak knives.
Yeah. I used to carry steak knives. We used to
little arsenal.
It's crazy.
Yeah. But it's like, I think when I don't know if it only happened to me in junior high, if I remember when I was reading it. like, or like you just said. But when you are bullied, I don't think you even tell your friends, because like I didn't tell like the guys in high school that we hung out with, oh fuck, this dude fucks with me all the time. Like I'm not sure if it's because like you're embarrassed. I can't put myself back in that mindset, but or back to those days. But I'm not sure if it's because like you're embarrassed, or if you tell them, are they going to want to do something? And it's, you know.
Well, I think it's hard. It's like people talk about with masculinity. I think there's good, tons of good aspects of masculinity, but maybe a common thing is that, I mean, I don't know if girls, I feel like girl bullying is worse in a way because it's like your friends, but
way more like, it sounds like they're far more vicious too. Like they cut deep, man. Like girls will pull up some shit you like spoke about in secret, and they'll public in front of everybody and just cut you at the lip, and you're just done. But yeah.
But I feel like, if you ever watch cartoons and like, there's always like best friends in cartoons, and they're like telling each other their dark secrets and shit. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I feel like in general, like if we were bullied, it's like, we weren't just like, oh, hey guys, at the lunch table, like, what's his name was just a huge fucking asshole to me. And then they're all, but it might've been better, for everybody to talk about that shit.
Yeah. And then most of the time when, I don't know about when you were bullied, but like when I was bullied is when I was by myself. So like I said, a lot of it was basketball. So like the last time I remember it happening was after basketball practice. Remember how the high school was on the front where the buses came? There was like the little opening, and there's like some like a little planter box type deal. You can
yeah.
So I was sitting there, and
by the bathrooms.
Yeah, by the bathrooms. Mm-hmm. I think I had just been asked if I wanted to practice with the JV team as a freshman. So I was like thinking about it, I was like, that's kind of cool. But then said individual comes up and he's like, oh, you think you're better than me or whatever. And then some of the guys on JV are like, oh, why you just fight him? I'm like, dude. And they're like, threatening me like, oh, we're going to kick your ass if you all this crap. I'm like, whatever.
Dude, that must have been scary, bro. You got all these people rolling up.
And myself. That's what's funny, because if you think about it, it never happened when.
Yeah, when it's like, oh, I'm by myself, and then there's nobody around to see. There's no friends.
Yeah, so they're not going to do what my friends are around.
Yeah,
I don't know why. It's like, okay, good for you. There's like 5 of you, and there's 1 of me.
And what are you supposed to do? Like, see, that's why I don't consider it. Like, I had a ton of confrontations and like asshole movements like that in high school. But the reason why I don't consider it bullying in the same way is because I wasn't like, oh, I'm just taking it. Then it was like, dude, I'm going to fucking stab you. Like, I don't give a shit, dude. Or you've got people around, you've got friends. Like, I didn't really have real friends in middle school, so it wasn't like they were going to like be like, oh shit, I'm rolling with you, John. We're going to go fight some people. It was like, oh, you're by yourself.
Yeah. Well,
dude, that's some like predator shit that they were doing to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, even like junior high, because I was new in 6th grade, and a lot of those people that in Houston, they've known each other.
It's like I wrote about. They all went to pre-kindergarten. They were in the womb together.
They came out. They were born in the same hospital right next to each other. Like they've all known each other, been to each other's houses, birthday parties or whatever. They all played together, soccer, little league. So everybody knows each other. So it's like, even junior high, it's probably worse, because it's like, okay, like I started making friends, like the friends that I had in high school, but it's like I lived far enough outside of town too, where I didn't hang out with anybody outside of school.
Yeah, you didn't live within walking distance of the town. That was a bummer.
So like after school, I'm like, see you guys later. Like even summertime, I wouldn't see most of them all summer.
Yeah, you're not going to La Perla.
Not doing anything. Yeah, and if I do go to La Perla, it's with my parents. It's like, hey, how cool is that? But yeah, it's weird. It always happened when I was by myself, even in junior high. It was like that. Like I forget what one of the kids was, but they're like, play me basketball. So it was a lot of basketball, and I beat him. If I remember right, I beat him. It was 1-on-1, and I was like in 6th grade, maybe 7th grade, but they were older. I beat him, and then I got threatened again. They're like, oh, now the next person came in. They're like, oh, you're gonna play me now. I'm like,
dude, this is like the dumbest insecure shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh, dude, this guy's better than me in basketball. I better have him beat me again so I can bitch about it.
But it's like one of those things. I wish if I were to go back, I don't wish, because I don't really like sit and think about the past too often. But if I were to, like, knowing what I know now, Man, if I were to go back, I would punch one of those dudes right in the face, even if there's a them. Fucking take my ass kicking, but I'm going to bust one of their faces.
Fucking stab them, bro.
Yeah, stab them. Like you would.
Yeah.
But I wish I would have done something sometimes when I think about it. But at the same time, it's probably good I didn't, because I just took it. The thing that does suck, I think it ruined basketball for me. I never played after.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even play my full freshman year. Ended up quitting like a quarter of the season.
And that's fucked up, dude. You know what I mean?
And it's like, I mean, I still play basketball though. I love it, but yeah, it took that joy away from playing competitive basketball, something I wanted to do because I love to do it in high school. But that sucks. It happens. I mean, turned out okay.
Did you? I think
I'll cry after this. I want to take a super freaking hot shower.
We're getting into the meat of it, bro. We're talking about. I bared my feelings in the article. It's good for you to. I think I talked about it a bit in the post that I wrote, but I get the feeling when I see, if like in a movie or something, or because I don't really I'm not like hanging out at schools in real life, but if I saw a kid getting bullied, I may want to like beat up the bully, but it's more like the kid, I want to shake him, like, stand up for yourself, dude, like fucking punch this guy. But it's hard in the moment when you don't. It's easy looking back, just like when you were like, man, I shouldn't have told my dad. I shouldn't have asked my dad about this.
Yeah, that's a stupid.
And it's like you know how stupid it is now.
Yeah.
And then with the bullying thing, it's like, now, like if I was in that situation, dude, just fucking clock this guy,
At least get one punch in.
Yeah.
Because I think if you do retaliate, like even if you got one good punch, it might stop him from messing with you afterwards. Because like, dude, this guy's kind of fucking crazy. Like there's 5 of us and he legit said, fuck it, and went after one of us and like busted my nose or busted my lip.
Here, let me ask you this, Travis, because people ask me this. So you're getting bullied. Mm-hmm. You're on the basketball team or whatever, you're playing basketball. How come you didn't tell the basketball coach? Who's the basketball coach?
He was a teacher. Can't remember his name. He got mad at me too because I said I blamed it on like back spasms or something, and then he'd see me playing in PE.
He's like, "What the fuck?"
Like this fucking guy's lying. Like I stopped going to practice and shit.
So how come you didn't tell the administration? How come you didn't tell a coach?
I think his name was Mr. Zylstra, Coach Zylstra.
Mr. Zylstra.
Zylstra. He was like a science or math teacher.
He was the geometry teacher.
Yeah.
I TA'd for him. That's why I know him. He's tall.
Yeah.
He's a tall dude.
Yeah. So he was a coach. I don't know. I didn't tell anybody. The only person I told was my brother. And I remember when I told him, I was in his room. I was looking, he used to love looking through his sports cards and shit. I was on his bed. He was like on his computer or something. I started crying. My brother's like, "Oh, what's wrong?" And I told him what happened. And that's when my brother picked me up. Seeing that backfire too, because then the next practice I went to, like, "Oh, your brother got to come pick you up," and it's like
I can't win, dude. I can't fucking win.
Well, my brother was like, "I hope one of those kids are 18." And I was like, "Oh shit," because my brother's 6 years older. And I'm like, that's the last thing I need is for my
brother's like an old man going to prison for you.
Fucking killing somebody. Yeah. Like Jesus Christ. But yeah, I don't know why people don't tell people. I mean, I think because it wasn't bad it was bad, thinking about like how it sounds bad, but I never let it like cramp my style. Like I still had fun.
No, dude, that's some bullshit. That's like when somebody like went through some traumatic shit and then they're like, well, I mean, they didn't like beat the shit out of me. Like it wasn't that bad. It's like you went through this traumatic shit. I think a part of it is it seems like a bitch move to do, even though it's fucked up. I have to, this is like prison now. Like I got to defend myself from this fucking gang. Like it's ridiculous.
That might be it. Like you asking for help is a weird, like that back to masculinity thing. Even as a young teenager, maybe part of it's like, especially that time, because you're transitioning, your hormones are starting to kick in, you're changing as a person. So maybe that's part of it too. For like the first time you have this sense of like self-respect and like a self-honor type deal where it's like I don't want to go cry to my mom and dad. Like I'm 13, I'm 14, I'm not a little baby. Maybe that's part of it.
But I think for me the biggest part, if you think about it, it's like, okay, I tell them, right? Do these guys get in trouble? Maybe they get in trouble, right? Like it's like it could be he said, she said, or he said. Maybe they get in trouble.
Yeah.
And then it's like they're not going to get expelled. Like they're still going to be there. I got to see them, and then they're like, oh, this guy's a bitch. He just told. And so then you're still seeing them. They're still and then it's more like maybe they're not outright punking you, but it's still. So to me, there's no good solution.
Yeah.
Just in general, besides being violent as fuck.
Besides actually retaliating and doing something fucking borderline psycho,
Yeah.
I mean, that's all you could really do. But like I said, if it was like one person that was in our grade, if it was just him, I would have fought him. Hands down, I know for a fact. Because there's so many times I was sitting there, I'm like clenching my fist, I'm shaking. Like if it's just him, I know for a fact because of how pissed he made me, I would beat the crap out of him. But when it's him, I'm looking up and there's like, dude, that's 6 foot something, or at least they look like it when you're, younger than them. Giants, they play football, they play basketball, they wrestle. And it's like, okay, I'm just kind of getting into my own body.
You got all these jocks there ready to
ready to whoop my ass. And it's like, I mean, I don't have any backing. What's going to happen? I'm going to punch him. I'm going to get my ass stomped on by some freaking.
But after that, did it get better? I guess you just quit basketball.
Yeah, I quit basketball. And I never had an issue after I quit, which kind of.
When you saw him, what did he like?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Which is kind of sad. It's like after I quit basketball, it's basically stopped.
Yeah.
How fucked up is that? I never really thought about when it stopped, but yeah, it was kind of.
You weren't a threat anymore to
stop going to basketball practice and stop playing.
It's not like he did anything with the fucking basketball. You know what I'm saying? So it's
it's not like I took his soul on the court. It's like, shit, we're on the team. That's what's crazy. We're on the team. We're trying to. You would think if somebody's good and they're on your team, I'm not saying I was the best player, but I'm pretty good. I think most people that I played with assume I'm like above average most of the time. So it's like I'm a key contributor to the team. Why wouldn't you want me on your team? Like, sorry if it takes any shine away from you. Like who cares? I don't know. That's like but he also had like dad issues, if I remember right. He kind of had some, because in junior high, there's a few times if I had a real good game, his dad would be like, "Oh, good game, Travis," and like give me a high five or something. And,
nice. And then he's like crying. He's like, "Fuck, dude.
Like, get your ass over here. You suck, man." I don't know. I wonder if any of his friends will listen to this and be like, "Yeah, he was kind of a douche." I mean,
yeah, I think there was a kid who got bullied. I mean, I guess I can talk about it because he wrote about it. I don't know if you know the kid, Chris Peterson. He was like this nerdy Mormon kid. He's like a super conservative guy, but he was in a grade or two below us. He ran for class president. He might not have come up until you left, but he was this nerdy kid. He was like a theater geek. And he wrote about being bullied. And then some of the people like apologized to him, for being bullied.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like, I don't even know why I brought this up, but it's interesting. Oh, you were talking about his friends listening. So yeah, it's like, I feel like there's some category of people that look back and they're like, dude, I don't know why I acted like that. I'm sorry, and that's what I always wanted. I always wanted a fucking apology. It's like, this was some fucked up shit. But then there's some.
Would you want one now though? Would you want an apology now? Would it make any difference of what's it?
So
say if it's been since junior high, that's at least 17 years now, 18 years. Yeah. But it's a lifetime ago. Would it make a difference right now at 32 years old, 33 years old? Like, hey, I'm sorry for what I did to you at 11.
So it's not like I'm living, like I wrote it because I was, I write about different things. So it's not like I'm living my life thinking about it. I'm just doing my own thing. Like, it's not like it's.
Yeah. Exactly. The same thing. It's like a continuous thought, but when you sit down and think about it, it's like, damn, that shit was kind of.
But yeah, I do. I want a fucking apology. I would love an apology. I want a fucking apology. It's like in every bully in a movie, like they have it. I forget what I wrote about this. There were certain movies like Rocko's Modern Life, the TV show, and there's another one where the bully becomes like, I think it's Anger Management. You remember that movie with Adam Sandler?
Yeah, Adam Sandler and.
But he runs into his bully, and then his bully's like a Zen monk, and he's like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." Yeah. And it's like, I always wanted, like, yeah, where's my fucking apology? This was a huge fucking injustice. I can't believe this shit. And so it would mean something, I think. And it's because it bothers me. It's like, it doesn't bother me normally, but if I think about it, I'm like, can you fucking believe this shit?
Yeah.
Can you believe what I had to deal with?
Yeah.
It's like this fucking basketball shit. I'd be like, can you fucking believe this?
Yes.
And so
I've never,
Go ahead.
I've never thought of it like like that, I guess. I've never thought about it like that because I still played basketball. I play all the time, so it's not like it ruined playing for me for my life. I still love playing.
We could have won some games with you in there. I would have actually gone to a basketball game if you.
Shit. Instead of playing basketball, I got a job at Baker Square.
Okay, so maybe this worked out best. Maybe I'm glad you got bullied.
Some things work out.
I'm gonna go send that dude a Facebook message and be like, you know what, dude? We were just talking about your ass. Thank you for playing.
There was times after, like even when I was after the Navy, or in the Navy, I'd go home. And I'm like, man, if I ever saw this guy right now, I'd probably slap the shit out of him. There's times I thought that. Like if I were to see him at like when I was like 18, 19, where it's still kind of fresh, it's only removed a few. Like if I were to see him and he try to come up and be like, hey, what's up, bro? I'd probably slap the shit out of him.
Yeah.
I know, even now I know I could kick his ass. I shouldn't probably say it, but I was never afraid of him. It's just
it's just the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's the whole crew.
Even if his friends, if it was just one of his friends, I would at least, I know I would have done something, but it's just when you're outnumbered, it's like waving, what do you do? Yeah.
But see, at least with you, I don't know about me because I don't know if the dude that bullied me was like bullying a whole bunch of people, because I was like an easy target. I was like fucking Asian new guy who had been to private school. And then I didn't know how to act. I wasn't like violent. I wasn't hard. I was like a soft, so I don't know if he bullied a bunch of people or just me, but I feel like with your bully, he had a whole bunch of people he fucking traumatized that hate his fucking ass. And so I feel like you're a part of this club. Like you've got all these people validation, of like, fuck this guy.
Yeah, I guess. I'm sure he did to other people. That's what's funny. I'm not surprised at all.
So let me I won't say the name. I mean, after the call, I can talk about it. But I think he like in Pop Warner football in 8th grade. I'm hearing this story. I wasn't at Ross, but he grabbed. I forget if he like grabbed a fistful of gravel or something or whatever. But he punched this guy in the face in Pop Warner football. And it was like this huge, like fucked up injustice. And so that guy hates the individual that we're talking about. So I feel like, I don't know if you asked him now, I'd be curious. I should do a whole fucking documentary on this.
I know. Now I want to be part of this if you're going to get into it. Now I'm curious. Because from what I've seen, I know he's had issues. It's not, it almost feels like we're being the bully now, huh? He has issues. But you know what I mean? Like he's had a rough adult life. Let's just put it that way. I think it's fair to say. I think that's not being incorrect.
I mean, that's objective, bro.
Yeah. And it'd be kind of interesting.
But I wonder, because to me, I was going to say with the former bullies, like if you went back to these people, there are some that are just fucking scumbag pieces of shit. That's who they are. And then there's some, like we both look back at like, oh man, that was stupid. I shouldn't have been doing that. I don't endorse that now. I'm sorry. Whatever. I mean, I think I did worse things than you did, but just Travis has always been a nice guy. But I wonder if he would fall into the category of this guy's still kind of a fucking scumbag, or, oh, you know what? He's sorry. He realizes he was a fucking asshole. Like, you think if we were talking to this guy right now and he's like, Travis, dude, I'm fucking sorry. I can't believe that. You don't think that'd feel great? Like, that'd feel good. You wouldn't care? You'd be like, 2 minutes late?
Because I don't care anymore. And realistically, I don't really care. Like, this is probably the most I've ever talked about this, actually. But yeah, I've never really, as an adult, cared too much because it didn't. I don't know why I would say I don't care, but it's like it's never stopped me from doing anything.
But I'm not saying that it's a big deal or that, it's like, I'll give you an example. When you're driving a car and you let someone come out, right? Like you let them pull out into traffic and they give you that hand. I don't care that much, right?
Yeah.
But I want the fucking hand. I want to see that.
Yeah.
So how you may not care that much. You may not think about it after that.
Yep.
But I still want it. So is it not even that?
No,
you wouldn't even want to.
I wouldn't even care, to be honest. I'd be like, cool, thanks, I guess. And I'd probably say, fuck you, or give me the bird. Like, so you don't have any forgiveness in your heart, is what it sounds like. You just be like,
too little, too fucking late.
You already did it, and I don't care at this point. Like,
okay.
Now it would have been nice if I was 14 years old and you would have said, "Hey, dude, I'm sorry," then, and then I could have kept playing basketball or something. But instead, I mean, what is it good does it do for me now? Like, oh man, yeah, thank you. 16 years, 17 years later, it'd been nice if it happened the following week or that a month later, because I would have, been like, all right, cool, like maybe we can actually become kind of not friends, but we can
teammates at least.
Yeah, we can like get through things. Like, I don't need to talk to you after practice. You don't need to talk to me. You don't need to bump into each other, which is funny because I never sought him. I never like, oh, let me go find him. I never like wanted validation or anything because I don't really care about him. I never thought highly of him anyways. So that's what always made me laugh. Like, thinking about it now, it's like, damn, you sought me for some reason. You know, I was, like you said, I'm like, I was kind of a dorky dude myself. I wasn't like.
Travis was a sweet, I mean, he's like he is now. He's a sweet guy. He doesn't bring ire out of people, I don't
see
not like.
I never went out and like sought confrontation or anything. I'm like, I'm just trying to mind my own business, do the best I can what I'm doing. Now if people do shit like that to me, I'm going to say something. But back then it's like, dude, that's why it wouldn't mean much to me now. It's like, cool, thanks. I mean, I don't give a shit. Like, good for you. I hope that makes you sleep easy at night, that you can forgive yourself for what you did 17 years ago. I'm sleeping just fine.
Dude, I'm making the documentary. I'm going to go.
I want to be part of this shit. We got to fly to wherever he lives at. And I'm down freaking boots on the ground on this thing.
Yeah, dude. We're sending him fucking boots on the ground. I'm going to get a big ass camera. We're going to have a whole investigative crew.
It's going to be knocking on his freaking door. Dateline.
Yeah. Come on in. Have a seat. A basketball as a prop. It's like, you feel good about this shit, dude?
I'll bring up this junior high yearbook, the team photo.
Yeah.
Look at me. I'm not smiling. I'm not happy. Remember you said to me?
Yeah.
I wonder if even his friends would listen to this and be like, damn, he was kind of a douche. But whatever. It is.
Yeah, I'd have to think because I don't know how many friends of his, because we'd have to talk about after the call who his friends are, because I don't.
His friends aren't even friends with him anymore. That's what's interesting. That would be interesting to know.
Yeah. Well, I don't know the whole downward spiral. I mean, I know very little. You knew his full family story. I feel like you were more tapped into the Houston thing, and I don't know anything.
I guess you could say it was just because from 6th grade up to 11th grade when I left.
Yeah.
What's that? That 5 years? Am I doing the math right? 5-6 years with the same people.
Yeah. And you live there, even if you live far away. I lived in Waterford before I moved.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to go pee.
All right.
We'll take a pause, and then I'll be right back.
Sounds good.
Okay.
I probably shouldn't mention names, though.
No.
But
so Travis and I just got finished talking about war stories with Travis's rambunctious high school self.
Yeah. Yeah, that was crazy, though. Yeah, that was... Yeah. Santa Cruz was a fun trip.
Yeah.
There. I think we got kind of lost on the way back.
Mm-hmm. That was fun. Those were good times.
Yeah, those were some good times.
I was thinking about it.
What'd you say? We hung out a lot during Baker Square times, though.
Yeah, it was a short time period, but I feel like so much happened for me. Like, it was like my first job. We were so close, and I was working. It was fun. There was all this flirting going on, with the workers there, and everybody was just like fucking crazy and doing their own thing. And I got along. I don't know if I got along better, but I got along really well with your dad. I really got along with your dad back then.
Well, my dad really liked you.
Yeah.
Even still talk to my dad, and we bring up like Baker Square. Because my dad always like, man, my dad used to crack up how you walked people to the table.
Uh-huh.
He's like, he always put a hand in his pocket. He's just like super cool and shit. But yeah, that was a good crew. It was a different array of people for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely quite
There's a whole bunch. There was like meth heads who were working in like the kitchen.
Yeah.
I forget his name. He's probably dead, dude. George, you remember George?
Yeah.
He was doing.
There was.
I mean, there was a lot of.
There was a lesbian, like the hardcore one.
Dawn wasn't a lesbian, if that's who you're talking about. She wasn't a fucking lesbian, dude.
Bro, she wasn't?
She wasn't Dawn.
She
Dawn
was.
for the viewers out there. Dawn was this. Travis is calling her lesbian. She was like a more butch, older. She was probably like in her 40s.
I mean, she's just like a biker chick, maybe.
She was like a biker chick.
Yeah.
She had me feel her tit. I was like 16. She was talking about how her boobs are real and nice or whatever. And then she's like, here. And then she grabbed my hand and she's drinking like fucking Hurricane out of her little like cup or whatever. Your dad was telling me
all the time. She drank those. She drank those all the time. She always had a big old energy drink.
Yeah. She was cool though. Her and Dawn were close.
She was cool as hell.
Yeah.
Damn.
She was cool.
That's funny. She had
this was some fucking sexual assault shit nowadays, but I was like, damn, this is cool.
The crap that was happening to us when we were like 16. That's illegal.
Do you remember the manager Miguel?
Yeah.
Dude, I was thinking about the kind of inappropriate shit that happened with that dude. Like, he was like, dude, that dude. And if you're listening, Miguel, I'm just gonna fucking say it straight because that dude, I found him on Facebook, but I feel good enough about just talking plainly. But that dude had some game. He's like a big old dude.
Yeah, he was tall. I mean?
No, he was fat, bro. I'm saying he was.
I thought he was tall.
You might be thinking about someone else. Miguel was.
I gotta see a picture of him to remind me.
Miguel was. He's friends with me on Facebook. You can look at.
Right, I'll check your Facebook after this.
Okay, but Miguel was a fat dude, and I say that with love, Miguel. But this guy had some fucking game, bro. Like he just. So he had seduced the waitress at Applebee's or the bartender or whatever, and he took me over there. And for people that are listening, I was like 15 and a half, 16. I looked like 12, and he's taking me, and we're sitting at the bar in Applebee's, and I'm uncomfortable as shit. I'm like, dude, I don't belong here. Like everybody in the fucking and the bartender girl is like trying to be super chill, and she's like, oh, what can I get you? Blah blah blah. And I was like, I'll have an Incredible Hulk because we had talked about Hypnotic or some shit, and I was like getting this Incredible Hulk. She's like, oh, how old are you? And I was like, I'm 19. And then he's like, man, why the fuck didn't you say you're 21? And I'm like, who the fuck believes I'm 21, bro? Like, who's going to believe that I'm 21? No one. That dude was just doing all sorts of crazy shit. He had like a big ass Escalade or something, or like one of these big ass trucks. He was like driving through Best Buy and would like hit the shopping carts and bounce them off of the car. It was just like, I think he was trying to make moves on Heather. He was a crazy dude.
I could see that. Heather was kind of, I don't remember. She wasn't too attractive to me, if I remember right. She's kind of, I can't remember. Too vague. Like it's kind of vague, but
yeah, I think she was a fun person. I'll say that.
She wanted like a cool car. I remember she always talked about getting an Infinity. That's where I started noticing Infinities. I still do. Every time I see one, I'm like, man, there's a girl I worked with that wanted an Infinity G35.
That was her car
all the time. Like when you're folding silverware and stuff, and she's like,
yeah.
I want an Infinity G35. That's my dream car. It's like, oh, that's cool. I mean, that's ambitious. That's a cool car to get if you can get it. Working at Baker Square.
I remember we had an electric fly swatter, and I was like fucking around with it, and I slapped her in the ass with the electric fly swatter. And there was this old couple that had walked in, and I didn't know that they were there, and they're just watching this shit. It was like a fun time, and your dad was like, he was really nice to me, I think. Yeah. And I was thinking about it, and when I was like 15, my parents went through this horrible divorce. My dad was like, arrested, and the cops were always at my house. It was like really fucking horrible, traumatic time. And I moved out, and I moved in with John Brasher and his family. But I remember that if you hadn't moved to Texas, I might have moved in with you. And I think we talked about it.
I think we did talk about that.
Yeah. It would have been weird. It would have been this whole other.
We abandoned me. We did hang out a lot during that time.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't hanging out with Sarah, we hung out with Tanner a lot. And this is what I was going to mention before with Tanner. I'm not sure if you remember this night. Every time I go home and I'm on this road now, I get flashbacks of the same night. I always
Service?
I think it's Service. I think it's Service where the gas station is and the pond and with the ducks.
Yeah.
We were driving and there's like a helicopter came out of nowhere. Like these cop cars pulled up and then like this dude was running and then like hit him upside the head or something. We're like, what the hell? We're tripping out. And I was recording this on like my flip phone. It's like the craziest shit. I think
was I there? I don't remember this.
You're in the middle seat. of his truck. So I was in
his blue
pickup truck.
Yeah.
And well, first we saw the light before anything in the sky. I remember like, oh, dude's on a UFO. Like we're all recording it and shit, being stupid. And then
for the people that are listening, this is a fucking road in the middle of nowhere. It's like in an orchard thing. It's dark.
It gets dark real quick because there's only that gas station. I think there's like a pet store.
But you're saying it's by this gas station that it was happening.
Yeah, it's like right when you pass the intersection.
And the cops were chasing some like meth head or what?
I don't know, but he jumped out of like a truck and then they like clubbed him upside the head.
Damn.
Yeah, shit was crazy.
I don't remember. Where did we even go out to?
I don't know. Sometimes I feel like we just drove around in his truck.
Yeah, there's like nothing to do in the Central Valley. We did
drive around. There was damn, were you on this one? I feel like we went with Tanner on this one too. There was like a party at a canal one time.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you were there.
We went to a party. I don't know if I was at this was an exclusive Tanner Travis party or not, but I remember us going to a party together.
If it was even Tanner, it might have been somebody else. But
who else did you have friends with that partied?
So there was a guy that down the street from me, Paul something. I can't remember his last name.
He didn't go to high school with us?
Yeah, he did. He was older. I think he was a grade older. He ended up going in the Marines.
Paul?
Yeah, he had a boat for a car. His name was humongous. I'm pretty sure. Now I'm thinking about it.
What's his last name?
Can't remember his last name.
I'll have to look this shit up.
I have him on Instagram. I'll look it up. And
okay. And then I remember, I don't think you were there. Tanner and I went to a party, and Tanner was trying to he had like a girl who he had like tried to get with, and then there was another girl, this Mexican girl, and he was like getting with her, and I was just like chilling on the couch because I was like, I'm not getting with, like, the party's over, you know what I mean? There's no other girls around.
Yeah.
And then I hear like sexual sounds coming from the bedroom, and I'm like watching James Bond. I'm watching The Living Daylights on TV, and I'm trying to turn this shit up. I'm like, what am I doing here? And then he's like popping out. He's like, oh, she won't let me have like, I'm just dry humping in there. I'm like, well, dude, like chop, bro. Like, let's get going here.
Like, make it happen or not, dude. Like,
yeah. I mean, good for Tanner. I have to admit, Tanner. I think we were all good with girls in our own way. Tanner had a little bit of game, I think.
Yeah.
And he has that whole looks like Tom Cruise type thing.
Especially now, or at least pictures I've seen from him. I think the last picture I saw of him was like when he got married. It's like, man, he turned out to be like a pretty damn handsome looking guy. I'm like,
yeah,
shit, I'm impressed. Yeah. You know, like, not that he looked weird before or anything, but
what the fuck?
You know what I mean? I'm not saying that he was like ugly or anything, but man, like he looks like a freaking movie star, almost like a Tom.
Travis is another one that got away. You know what I mean? Like another regret
for somebody.
Yeah. He moved, I think. Have you seen him since?
No, I haven't seen him since. I mean, when I go up north and visit my family, I don't really see anybody at all.
Who have you seen? Because we haven't talked in like 17 years. Like, we haven't seen each other.
Yeah. This is like the first time we actually seen each other.
Yeah.
Kind of, you know.
Look at how much it flows after all this time. It's just
shit. I mean, I don't think I've seen anybody since then. Besides,
what about all the Mexicans? Jose?
Besides them, because I went to Jose's wedding.
Uh-huh.
He went to my wedding. Gerardo went to my wedding. I've seen Josh a few times.
Where was my invite to your wedding, bro? You invited all the Mexicans. I'm not Mexican enough to go.
Oh,
I would have told some Baker Square stories. Embarrassed you?
I don't know. Yeah, I've done pretty embarrassing stuff, I guess, even because my Navy buddies were my groomsmen. I've done some. I'm sure they have some stories too. No. Well, we all do because we all did stupid shit.
Well, not me, but I mean you have some. Does your wife know about all these stories? Is she chill with it?
I'm pretty sure most people don't know any of these stories. There's stories I don't share.
Why?
Because it's like,
where's this intimacy that's going on? Where's you're hiding things? It's just,
why would I need to tell these stories?
it feels inappropriate. It feels distasteful. Your dark secret past. I gotta have a talk with Natalie. I gotta be like, I can't believe the kind of stuff that this guy. Now, you've always been a solid dude, Travis.
I think I try to be.
You don't have to. People don't try. They just are. There's no try.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. That's a nice sentiment. But
do you remember when we went to Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift? We like went to it, I think with Sarah, and then we left. And I like forever when I hear about Fast and Furious, I think like I don't remember why we left the movie theater.
I don't remember why we left. Do you remember doing this with her? Like I think it was in her car, like being on the top of her car in the parking lot at Baker Square.
Yeah, probably. That sounds familiar.
I think we did that. Like we put you on the roof of her car.
Yeah.
And she was doing like donuts and because she had a nice car. I mean, it's an Acura Integra. It's pretty. I mean, things got some speed, some whip to them. Yeah, I
did a whole bunch of stupid shit back then.
Yeah, I think she was whipping around in the parking lot, and you were on the roof.
We did all sorts of dumb shit with cars. Like I remember with Tanner when we had John Brasher in the truck, we used to do ghost ride the whip and like get out and dance around the car and then leave John in the middle of the orchard. That was fucked up.
That is.
Do you remember that, or you don't remember what I'm talking about?
I do. Like not a whole lot, but I remember ghost riding the whip, and definitely remember doing that.
Yeah.
Ghost riding.
And anytime I hear Riding Dirty, that's like, I think of you and Sarah.
That was
fucking around.
I always think of you because you'd get fucking down to that shit. That was like,
dude.
Talking about anthems, that thing came on. You were like,
it's like, let's go, bro. And you know why it was special? It's like music was more special back then when a song would come on, because it wasn't just like, oh, I'm playing this shit, from Spotify.
Yeah.
I don't even think we had iPods back then, but that shit would come on the radio.
Yeah, it's on the radio or a burnt disc, most likely.
Yeah.
So I mean, the track ends, you have to hit the back arrow. It's not like you have it on repeat on a CD. You can't repeat. Yeah. So it's like shit. Once it's over, it's kind of over.
yeah. That was so much fun. That time I feel like was this cowboy time. I remember it was after we stopped working there, because I had this, I forget if I told you, I had this like now if my dad listens to this, it's like, I forgive you, Dad. But my dad was fucking psychotic back then. And he went into Baker Square. Like, I didn't know this, right? I was at home and the police were like switching back custody back and forth and all this shit.
Yeah, I was working that day.
When my dad came in?
Yeah.
Oh, so you know this whole part of the story that I don't. So what happened? You can tell me. I remember
again, he was just like yelling and stuff. I think my dad was working too. My dad talked to him and then I think he left. That's like the quick rundown I have of it. I just remember he came in, he was like, he had a mustache.
Yeah.
He was pissed. Like he was going fucking nuts. I don't know what he was saying, but I was up at the front and I was just like, what the fuck? Like, this is crazy, And then my dad came and like talked to him. And I think my dad kind of calmed him down, if I remember right. And then
you thought I was lying about my psychotic, crazy family, but then you saw my dad like in person.
I was like, oh shit.
And then there was that other manager who like came in temporarily. I forget his name, but he was chill. He was like from the Pleasanton location or something. But anyways, my dad made me lose the job. And I couldn't work there because he might have come in a different time too. Because I thought he talked to the other manager.
Might have, because there's a regional manager that was
not like Pete or whatever, Peter or whatever.
Oh damn, you remember him too? See, I can remember his name. Look at that.
I remember Peter. No, there was a different guy. It was like a temporary situation where, because he was the regional manager, but there was a guy who was like your dad, like the manager of Pleasanton or wherever the fuck.
Mm-hmm.
And he came in like temporarily. He was like a chill dude. But I think my dad came in again and made me lose the job. And then I found out.
Oh.
I found out by going in. I went into work. You weren't there, I don't think. But I went into work. And then it was just like, oh, my dad, I'm sorry. Like, you can't work. Like, your dad made me lose our job. And then I went out to the parking lot and I was just like fucking crying. And Barbara came out and she like hugged me and cried with me. And it was like this really like sweet moment about like, it was like all this fucked up shit was going on. And it was just like, it was fucking horrible. But that I really remember Barbara doing that. Barbara
Well,
was
kind of back to the movie Waiting. As crazy as everybody was, I think well, that's something that would happen working there.
Yeah.
Because I could, yeah, everybody's so different that work there, but at the same time, it's like we're all kind of the same. We're all fucked up a little bit in
It
our own
crazy fucked up family.
specific way.
Yeah.
So I'm not like, it was like a little family, I guess, outside of having a family, like going to work. And it's like, because you go to work and like depending who's actually working, it's like, man, today's gonna be like we're gonna have some fun tonight. Like like crazy shit's gonna happen. You come back, they're talking shit or just shooting the shit, eating fries off people's plates and stuff. You know, we're having fun. But
it was a great time, especially for a teenager.
Yeah.
You know?
It was a great, like, because I mean, like you said, worked doing stuff around on the property before, but it was like my first paycheck job where I'm clocking in, clocking out. So it was a good experience. I enjoyed it. It was freaking it was fun as hell, actually.
I
mean, who else gets to do that? Like, we work together, we go to school together. It's like, cool. They were in a class for bullshitting in English, getting in trouble, probably talking about crap at work and stuff we did after work.
It was like it was really bonding experience.
Yeah, in a short period of time, because it was really just that one school year. Because then I was
you left, you abandoned me. I remember talking to you. You would call me from Texas, and I remember I was like in my room and I had a stack of magazines and I was stabbing them like on my.
Yeah, I remember this.
And I was talking to you and I fucking stabbed, because the magazines, for people that don't know, people in prison use magazines as armor to prevent being stabbed. But I only had like 2 magazines and I was stabbing them, and then I stabbed really hard and I stabbed through the magazine into my leg. Yeah. And I was on the phone with you. I was like, oh shit.
You were like, oh shit, I just stabbed myself. Yeah.
You remember that shit?
I do remember that story. That one I remember. See, that's one of those things I forgot about, but you bring it up.
Yeah.
Crap, I vividly remember that phone conversation. Yeah. And I was like, what? How do you stab yourself? And you told me what you were doing. I was like, oh shit. Like, why would you be doing that?
I had a lot of stuff going on, Travis. Okay. There's a lot going on.
Yeah. I mean, everybody does, like you say, nobody tells anybody. I mean, how does anybody know unless you say something? So, but yeah.
Did you get along with your dad after you moved?
Not for a long time.
Didn't you get along with him before?
Yeah, before all the stuff that I think what happened, like everything that happened or something. Do you know all that stuff? Maybe not.
I think you told me, but
yeah, a lot of stuff had happened. But yeah, there was like to be honest, I could say it was a long stretch where I was just really pissed, kind of resented him. But now I'd say I definitely now totally better. I don't really think about it anymore. It's the past. It's like one of those things. Everybody had moved on from it, and I was like, and it's one of those things because like I don't live there anymore, so maybe I was like holding on to it. That was like the last kind of memory I had, and everybody's moved on. But I'm like grasping at this one thing.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you got to let it go. I mean, it took me into my 20s for sure, late 20s, till I started just saying, you know what, fuck it. It's been 10 plus years. Just gotta let it.
So when you would go visit, would you just like be a dick to him or what? And like be nice to your mom or what?
Yeah, I mean, if there was a plus that came out of everything, because I was really close with my dad. Like I used to wait for him to come home and watch Sports Center and shit because he worked late. It made me closer to my mom. Like now, I call my mom all the time. That's the first person I call, or probably the only person I call. I'd call, of everybody in my family, I called her 97% of the time versus everybody else. I mean,
mom's name is Leela.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if there's a positive out of it, that's what happened. Because I was never, like a good example, 6th grade camp. When I came back from 6th grade camp, my mom picked me up. I didn't cry, but when my dad got home from work, I cried when I saw my dad. Like, how effed up is that?
If I was your mom, I'd be like, fuck you, dude.
Ungrateful child.
Yeah.
Like now as a parent, like what an asshole.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, definitely there's a stretch of probably.
So you're chill with him now?
Oh yeah. I'd say there's a good 8-year stretch.
Where do they live now?
They live in Waterford, actually.
They live in Waterford. Why would you make this mistake? Why would you?
Why would you move there?
Yeah.
Because they have horses and stuff. So when they moved back, when they moved from Texas, they moved on to back into Houston. And then they moved to Waterford.
Why did they move back? They just moved to Texas. Like,
I could go into it. I'm not going to go into it. But yeah.
Later on an off recording call, you can tell me about it. But
no, and my mom even felt bad. She's like, my mom's told me this before. She's like, I felt bad that we pulled you out, last year at high school. Like,
fuck you, dude. Have them apologize to me. We could have been having a balling ass time.
Man.
Yeah.
My brother's living in the modular in the backyard. So damn, we had an extra room. Could have had my brother's room or had my room, whatever. It's like shit. We had been right next. We had been literally our doors would have faced euld other.
Yeah.
Cool I've been. Gone to work
like together. A movie.
Gone to work together. My grandpa would have taken us to school together.
Would have been nice.
And doing some hillbilly shit. Could have been irrigating with us.
Yeah. Damn.
Country living.
So when I go back to the Central Valley, it'll be convenient because if you come up, I want to see your dad, so he'll be in Waterford.
Yeah, he's in Waterford.
Like, what's up, Jesse?
Live right by. Is it the elementary school? That's a Tigers or something. I think it's a Tigers. They live past the. I'm not going to go. I'm not going to tell everybody where they live. Never mind. But they live in that area. So
I don't think anybody's going to go to Waterford, bro. I guess you never know. You're going to get the stalker or the dude we were talking to earlier. He's like, you know what?
I'm going to show up, man. I'm going to freaking find your family. But yeah, they moved back because they moved to Houston and they moved out there because they have horses. So I think they were, what do you call them what do you call it when you're somebody's watching horses? Like they had them at somebody else's property.
A horse babysitter?
Yeah. Can't remember. So they're paying for that. And I think they are like, fuck it, we need a.
Why do you need horses? What are you going to do with horses? Is he like a teenage girl?
Competitions and stuff. And my sister did some competitions with them.
How's Megan?
Good. Yeah, she's good. Yeah. Pregnant. Yeah, man.
You like her baby daddy?
Yeah, he's good. He's a good dude. It's crazy to think as part of like that, like I said, not living there since 17. After graduating, high school has gone basically in a sense. Never moved back. So it's, you get bits and pieces of siblings' life and they're growing up while you're away and you come back. Now they're 3 years older than they were the last time you saw them. So it's like,
is she still in the valley?
Yeah. Yeah. She's
still, Ernie?
Yeah. Everybody, my whole family's still up there.
Yeah.
Except for my grandparents. But it's a trip because everybody gets older. They're doing different things. Life continues. I think that was the hardest thing. Damn, this is getting deep. But yeah, it was like the hardest thing for me to contextualize or understand. It's like, okay, I'm going to go visit. But it's like even now, it's probably the same amount as it was when I was in the Navy, maybe twice a year, 3 times a year if I'm lucky. So it's like things are different each time I go up there. She's not the little girl that she was when I first left. Now she's an adult, making adult.
She's growing up.
Yeah, it's fucking weird.
Having kids, bro.
It's weird. It's when you're an older brother, it's a weird thing, I guess, when you come back and your younger sibling who used to punk on and shit like that is now
used to bully.
Yeah, take your aggression on. I just kidding. It's like an adult. It's a weird thing. They got adult life situations. They got real adult crap going on in their life. And it's like, damn, you were just like a little kid to me still. It's weird. But
why do you live in Beaumont?
It's like it was like the last affordable housing market in SoCal.
Why do you want to live in SoCal?
Oh, my wife's family's down here.
Yeah. Where do they live?
In Palm Springs.
Okay.
It's like one of those things. I got stationed down here. And I went to Washington, but she was still going to SDSU. And I got out. She was still going there. So we lived in San Diego. We've lived in Long Beach, Rancho Cucamonga, and then we bought this house here. I'm sure I'm missing an apartment somewhere. We moved a lot. But
do you get along with her family?
Oh, yeah. They're cool.
They're listening to the podcast. They're going to be like,
hear me on the opposite side. They're here.
So like, are they?
Yeah, they're cool. They're good people, man. Can't complain.
She have siblings?
Yeah, she got a younger brother.
You get along with him?
Yeah, Actually, he's pretty
You
cool.
can't even give me honest answers. I should ask you later.
No, I can. He's super handy too, so it's nice. Like they build
He's
shit.
like, come on over.
They got like a whole construction family because her dad's
Really?
like he's been in construction for like his whole life, so they all build shit. Like they can
Should
all
have built you a house, dude.
they can all make shit, and I love it. Like I said, she built this desk. It's like, damn, man. It just busts out tools, and they're just I'm like, man, I love it.
If things don't work out, me and Natalie could talk. I could get some new furniture.
Dude, if this thing ever fell apart, I'm fucked. If I have to put up a shelf, I'm screwed. I'm like, who do I call?
You're gonna be a bum on the street with like, I can't put up the furniture.
Call
You're
who?
gonna be right back where the person we were talking about with. You two are gonna be living in a little hut together.
And call up Home Depot and be like, hey, do you guys install a bookshelf? Or regular shelves? They're like,
You're gonna be that guy.
I'm like, what the hell? Just read the instructions. Look for a freaking
Watch a YouTube video, dude.
look for a stud and fucking drill. I'm like, oh, if I want to see a stud, look in the mirror.
See, that's what I remember about you. You have this like cheesy game,
Yeah. Oh, I am. That I am. But anyway, just talked a lot about me. I know it's like getting kind of vague.
Okay, in the next one we can talk about.
Are you 2
What'd
hours?
you say?
Are you 2 hours ahead? And
I'm 3 hours ahead, bro.
oh man, because you've moved around a lot though. Side note, you moved around. From what I've seen, what you lived in Berkeley for a little bit for I don't know how long. Then with Florida, I got Florida because I was reading your
hurricane
one, and it was an interesting one because I could hella see how people are. Like,
yeah,
maybe it's because I've been all over the place, but it's like people are definitely either assholes in a situation like that, or they're just gonna be hella nice and everybody's come together, community, we got this, and there's a one asshole that just fucks it up for everybody, and everybody.
It was a weird experience. So what happened was I lived with my grandparents in Berkeley, and then I had a falling out there and moved in with my I had dated this girl, my first love, in like the beginning of high school, and we broke up, and then we got back together, and then I moved in with her and her family, and then the fucking the recession hit. It was just a bad time. So I was poor as shit. It was a horrible time. We can talk about that later. Terrible time. Then I finally moved back to Berkeley after I left this horrible time. Then when I met Audrey, she went to medical school in Florida. So we moved to Florida, and then she's doing residency here. So now we live in Michigan. So I went from like,
where would you prefer to live? Florida, Berkeley, Michigan?
Well, we're going to be living in San Francisco. So we're for sure going to be living there. So that's going to be a mixed bag because the food's great. I love all the shit to do, but it's like, it's going to be,
it's San Francisco at the same time. It smells like piss everywhere. So,
well, the area that we're going to be in isn't that bad, but it's going to be intense. But I think Florida is a much more interesting state. Like, it's fucking crazy there. The nature is beautiful. I mean, I fucking love alligators. There's alligators everywhere, dude. You go to the park, you couldn't let Hudson play. I mean, there'd be a fucking gator in the water there.
You see those videos all the time, like golfers and shit. Like they're in between tees. There's a freaking 12-foot alligator rosy about. It's like, oh, and they don't even seem phased anymore. The locals, they're golfing. Like,
that's how it is. When I first got there, I was like, oh fuck. And now when I left, I was like,
yeah. They're like, oh, that's Fred, the alligator.
Yeah.
He comes out every morning, 9 a.m., eats a burger, goes back in his little pond,
Exactly. Have you ever been to Florida?
Yeah. After boot camp, I went there for A school in Pensacola for, I think it was like 3 months.
Yeah. You were in the Panhandle though. That's different.
And then I went there for work this past summer. I was traveling. So I went to Cape Coral and then Orlando.
How'd you like it?
During the pandemic, it was nice because everything was like open there. So I was like, this is different than in California. I mean, everything's like locked down. Not that people, and when Beaumont really wasn't, because it's kind of like a rural town without being rural, because we're right by the freeway. And there's a lot of development going on, but people in this area just don't really give a shit.
Yeah.
So it wasn't too drastic of a change, but it was kind of nice going to Florida and just going to like a restaurant. Like I remember I was in Orlando, I was going up the elevator and this guy came in with the mask and he's like, "Oh, do we not need to wear them?" I was like, "Fuck, I don't know. Nobody else is." I'm just, it's like, dude,
this guy's doing his civic duty, protecting people from his germs, and you're like, "Fuck it, dude, I don't give a shit."
Like nobody else is. I don't. It's like, it looks like that was like rare to see somebody with the mask when I was there. I was like, dude, I don't know. And then if you do have one, everybody's like, you know, it's like, well, shit. Geez, sorry, I'll fucking take my mask off. I'll cough on you too. You want that? But I took it off.
Yeah, there you go.
Freaking drool coming out of my mouth. But yeah, nice. I like Florida. Did you like it overall? Would you?
I think Florida was a great place to live for 4 years. There's a lot of stuff to do, a lot of unusual, weird shit. We lived an hour away from Miami, so we go to Miami. We go to the Everglades. Everglades are beautiful. It's gorgeous.
I've never been. It's beautiful. Yeah, I heard it's really, really cool.
You're gonna take your kids. What'd you say?
I think my mom actually did that one time. She did the Everglades and
really.
Yeah, I heard it's really awesome.
It's sick, dude. You should wait till Harper's old enough so she'll remember. Take them to the Everglades. It's a blast, dude. But I wouldn't want to live there long term. I mean, I could see why people retire there. Now that I've lived in the snow, I'm like, fuck this, dude. I hate the snow. And so all the New Yorkers who are tired of the winter and they're old, they move down to Florida because it's so hot. And then you don't have to shovel snow. You don't have salt all over the place. So you don't know what I'm talking about. You've never lived. Oh, you lived in Washington, right?
Yeah, I used to have to. I mean, but I lived on base, so it's like I had to walk in the snow. It snowed and rained nonstop.
Yeah.
But I never had to shovel snow, so I can only imagine how fun that is. Fucking A.
And Michigan, Ann Arbor is like a college town, so it's like small. It's like a smaller Midwestern Berkeley. But I just wish in Berkeley it's cool because there's a big city, San Francisco. You can do shit in San Francisco. You can do shit in Oakland or Berkeley. But Ann Arbor, it's not. I wish there was more stuff to do. And Detroit doesn't have that much stuff to do. You know, it's a little post-apocalyptic. It's a little barren. So I just
you might get shot or stabbed. You know, never.
Well, Detroit's weird. Either you're in a really crime-ridden area, or it's like barren. It's like a giant city that was designed for like 3 times the population, but because everybody left. Like we just went today and it was like, you know, there's not that many people. So it's really easy to park. It's not like driving in fucking San Francisco or LA where there's all this traffic.
Yeah, definitely.
Or even San Diego. But there's just, it's a little depressing.
So how long have you guys been in Ann Arbor?
It's going to be 3 years.
So have you been to a Michigan football game yet?
No, because what happened was, we didn't go to the first one, that when we moved here, and then COVID happened, and then I think we were out of town for when they finally fucking beat Ohio State.
Oh my god!
And it was like,
freaking
fucking wish I could have gone to that.
Yeah, it was probably a madhouse in that.
Dude, the whole fucking town erupted. I mean, it was like because they hadn't beaten them in fucking a million years. You know,
it's been a long. I'm a Michigan Wolverine fan, so it's like I know it's been. That was probably like the first time, I think like almost 8 years, something.
Yeah.
Like it'd been a while. Like that's how long it'd been. Like I think Michigan fans even forgot. Like I remember last time we won, like 3 coaches later, we finally.
Yeah. So. I went down to Columbus, and I was talking to like the tour guide. He was like this dude who he used to do something in football, and he gave tours of Ohio State, and he's like, "Oh, where are you from?" Or, you know, where are you visiting from? And I was like, "Oh, Michigan." And he's like, "Oh, where at?" And I was like, "Your favorite place, Ann Arbor." And he was talking mad fucking shit the whole time about the football. And then I was like, "How'd it go?" You know, like what? But it's like the one time you can talk shit, you know, when they
finally win.
Yeah.
Because but in the comeback I've heard, because I was celebrating it too, they're like, "Oh, finally!" Like people I knew that were Ohio State fans were like, "Oh, you finally won! Like, must feel good." I'm like, why you gotta be a sore loser? You know?
Yeah.
You guys have beat us 9 out of the last 10 times. Can we just celebrate this one time where the sun finally shined on our team? Like, you're acting like we're saying you guys are the worst freaking college team of all time. We're
Yeah.
probably whoop our ass next year. Like it'll go
But the
right
whole
into the cycle of us losing pretty soon, I'm sure.
yeah, but the whole shit is fun. You know, it's like everybody talks shit. Like in Ohio, they like won't even, they'll take out the M, or they won't mention Michigan. You know, like the tour guide's talking about all the states. He's like, oh, and that state up there, we don't really talk about it. The shit is fun to me because I don't give, I'm like from California. I don't, you know, I don't give a fuck about any of this. Like both of these states are weak states in my opinion compared to a real state, but the shit was fun. So we're hoping to go this last year that we're going to be here.
Yeah, that'd be cool because I've always heard the stadium is pretty iconic. You know, it's a legendary stadium. That'd be kind of
well.
Cool.
We've been to the state. We saw a soccer game there actually.
Oh, that's cool. So you've been on the stadium though. So
we've been in the stadium, yeah. And then when she first came here, they gave like a little behind the scenes tour for her group, so they got to do that whole thing. But you're the sports guy. I mean, I'm not. I'm like,
well, I'm not like hardcore Michigan Wolverine fan. I am a Michigan Wolverine.
You're a fucking Vikings fan, aren't you?
That I'm hardcore with. Yeah, unfortunately.
I remember that. Even in high school, you were.
My whole life. I even got a tattoo of my own. That was my first tattoo. Was a Viking.
How do you feel? Like you're like, I love sports so much, I'm gonna get a Vikings tattoo.
I love the Vikings, and I kind of hate the Vikings because they suck.
Who's your basketball team?
It used to be the Bulls, but let's be real. I mean, I don't really follow. I follow basketball. I just don't really root for any specific team.
I think it was cool because when I lived in Berkeley, it was like that's when the Warriors started getting good. And then I was like, okay, this is my team now. You know, I was that bandwagon fan where I'm like, yeah, we're kicking everybody's ass. You know, I didn't know about them before, and then I'm like, yeah, Steph Curry, dude, he's just fucking stomping on it.
He's gold. Because I mean, growing up, I'm not sure. Oh yeah, you probably weren't there then for this, but the Valley was all Sacramento Kings fans back in what year? Sixth grade? That's 2001-ish, 2002.
Yeah, 2000 probably.
Yeah, early 2000s. Because they were good. They made the playoffs all the time. They lose to the Lakers, but everybody was Kings fans, like die-hard King fans. And then I don't know what happened. Obviously, they suck. I know they suck. So they all became Warrior fans, I guess. Yeah. I'm assuming that's what happened.
Yeah, I wonder how it is now.
If you went to a Warrior fan's house and found a box in their attic, I bet you there's like some fucking
some Kings fans, their old shit. That'd be funny.
Sacramento King newspaper clippings and stuff.
When they get old, the fucking kids are gonna be coming up. They're like, "What is this? What is this team here?"
Yeah, you said
you're like, put that away.
You said you're a Warriors fan. You're home with Dad, you freaking liar. You lied, Dad. I can't trust you anymore. Oh my god.
I know it's gonna cause a whole fucking generational upset.
Yeah.
What about baseball?
Now. They're like, I'm a Kings fan now, just because you betrayed them.
Yeah. But, what baseball team you like?
I always just root for the team I'm closest to. So I was in San Diego, and now of course they're pretty good. But when I was in San Diego, stationed there, Padres. Now I guess it's the Angels.
So you don't care about baseball that much?
I love baseball itself, the actual sport. I follow it with a passion, but I just don't really.
How come you didn't play baseball in high school?
I sucked. I played once in Little League. I think it was the 7th or 8th grade, and I got hit in the face. Not by.
Okay, that's why.
Not fly ball or anything. It's like it's an embarrassing story. I was playing catch and I like spaced out and I missed the ball. But I only played the one time. I never played organized baseball besides the 1 year. I sucked. I couldn't.
Dude, you could have played with Jose.
I played when Jose played. I played against him, I think.
No, I mean in high school, bro.
Oh yeah, I never played with like that was the one time I played and I sucked. So I just like I was always the guy that when I growing up I played with my friends on the street, you know. So it's like whatever. But organized baseball, dudes are freaking throwing real shit like curveball. I'm like I can't hit this. I remember Jose one time. He's like, "Dude, you need a swing." I'm like, "Swing at what?" I was like, the ball on the ball like going in the ground. Like, am I supposed to swing? I'm getting on base. I'm fast, so I at least can steal bases.
That's funny thinking about Jose giving you some tips. He's like, "Dude, you need to get your shit together, bro."
Yeah, I was like, "What the hell?"
What position did Jose play? Do you remember?
I think he was a pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
But it's funny, like talking about baseball. Like in practice, one time I was swinging. I was actually hitting the ball pretty good in practice one time, and our coach, he was like, "You got a beautiful swing." I was like, "Oh, thank you." But in the game, my batting average was probably like 0.1 or 0.01. You know, like I had like the worst batting average, I'm sure,
Yeah.
in the entire league. I either walked or I just struck out. I don't know what to swing at. Like shit, I don't know what the strike zone
Wasn't
is.
your game.
Yeah. It's too slow paced too. I played outfield, so it's like, and I couldn't catch. I can't catch a fucking fly ball to save my life for some reason, which is weird.
That's weird.
I can't. I caught one in the game, and
You're like,
dude, it was the last time I freaked out. It was like Smalls and fucking. I was like, oh my god,
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, not really my thing. Basketball is. Basketball is my thing. If I pick a sport to play, or it is a sport I pick to play.
But watching, you're the biggest football guy.
Yeah. So is my wife. My wife's a huge Pittsburgh Steeler fan. Her whole family.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
They're originally from Pittsburgh.
Okay.
So it brings some,
yeah.
Sometimes it's like, clashing a little bit. Like,
I see.
Where the kid's gonna wear,
Yeah. Have you been to Pittsburgh?
I have not.
You should go.
My wife went though. She went with her mom to watch them play the Vikings actually in Pittsburgh.
Who won?
Pittsburgh won. Yeah.
Oh, that must have been devastating, bro.
I'm happy I wasn't there for it.
You're happy you didn't go on the trip?
Dodge that bullet. That would have been a fun flight home. Like, fuck the fucking Steelers. I would have been pissed. Like, I'm not watching football ever again. But it was cool. It was good times. I mean,
what do you think of Tom Brady?
Good for him. I mean, cool.
That's it?
Hey, great career. I mean, that's awesome. I mean, that's like one of those unexpected legend type stories, I guess, like the hard worker. Because
but I'm not hearing any admiration in your voice.
Oh, the one thing I'll give him admiration for, because my dad's obsessed with it. But
is he?
Yeah. The thing I'll give him is, I've heard this before from like people I've worked with that have kids that play sports. Sometimes you get the person with all the talent in the world, and they don't do anything with it, like they squander it. And then there's a person that has half the talent, or maybe even less than that, but man, they just like every day they just work at their craft, and they end up becoming great, even though they're not. Well, you can apply it to like almost anything in life, not just athletics, but or sports. You can apply it to like a bunch of stuff, like a regular job. There's some people that I work with that just pick up things super quick, but they're lazy as hell also. So how useful are you really? That's where I give him credit, because I don't think he's ever the most athletic. He throws the most beautiful football or whatever, but the dude's smart as hell, worked at his craft. I mean, outworked everybody.
But why am I not hearing admiration?
That is admiration.
No, you sound like you're talking about your enemy that you have to like give credit to.
I appreciate that, because I think that's a rare thing. I think people, not all the time, I'm sure there's people growing up or kids even today that play sports and they might not be as good as some other kids that just have it naturally. It's like, dude, if you just work hard enough every day.
Dude, working hard is innate. That's a genetic thing that happens that is inside you of whether you work hard.
It is though. I think, I'd kind of agree with that. Some people have like the like the innate.
They have a fucking drive. You know what I mean?
An unreal drive to succeed.
Yeah. Even if they're not as good in other areas.
Yeah, and there's some people that are really good at whatever they are, and they have that, and it's like.
And then it's like, fuck, dude.
Yeah, like I always think that's like a Michael Jordan-esque situation, where
obsessed and super talented.
Yeah, and super talented, like an athlete and obsessed.
Yeah.
Where most I think more than not, it's the opposite. It's like split. You're either super talented and you're not obsessed, but you can get by on talent, and there's an obsessed person that will outwork the talented person.
Yeah, when you were talking about Tom Brady and the separation, I was like, well, Michael Jordan's he's both of those things.
Yeah, that's the only person I could think of that has like put the whole shebang together,
Yeah.
I mean, Tiger Woods was probably hitting that way till the end of his career when he got kind of, with all his shit. But because he had
that scandal, I'm sure didn't help.
Yeah, that's where it all went south for him. But it seems like, he had the talent, and he was also the best golfer in the world. It wasn't like, he got potential, because you hear that a lot with people. They hear that at work. Like when I've gone to this past year, it's doing a lot of traveling, going to different plants for my company, and I hear that so many times from managers, like plant managers and stuff. Like, oh yeah, well, this person got the potential. Like potential means nothing to me if that
Why aren't
person's
they doing it?
yeah. Why is he still in that same position for 3 years? How come I'm even here? If they
Yeah.
I wouldn't be here trying to fix your guys' shit if that person with potential would just do their shit. But like one guy I met when I went to it was up in the East Coast. I think it was Connecticut. This guy, he started as like scraping the floor basically, and he started driving the forklift, and then he became the warehouse manager, like all within a year span.
Yeah.
Like, see, that's a story you like to hear. The dude
Yeah.
took a shit job because he needed a job and just
Yeah.
bust his ass. And he
Yeah.
was like so gun ho when I was there. He's like, yeah, I'm trying to do all this stuff, all these things you're telling it, trying to implement. He's like, I love it. This is what we want to do. It's like, man, I'd rather talk to that person versus the dude that's like thinks they know it all because maybe they do. So it's not they're so nonchalant about it. They're like, oh yeah, we know we need to do that. This guy was just like, again, I met two guys like that out of the whole like 8 plants I went to. Like, geez, it was refreshing. Like I remember telling their plant manager, he's like, oh, we're not there yet, but we'll get there. I was like, hey, you got a good dude. I was like, I don't care how bad it looks, man. It's refreshing to hear somebody actually cares about the
Yeah.
fucking job, you know.
You sound like your dad, Travis. That's what you sound like.
Well, scary, I know.
I remember
The older I get, the more I
Yeah.
feel like
you're turning into him.
Yeah.
I remember what?
I said mentality wise, at least.
Yeah.
So,
I had first started at Baker Square, and I don't think you were there at this meeting. And it was like I just first started, so it's like when he's talking about stuff or complaining about something, it's not like I did it, So I was just like, whatever, it's not my problem. But I think people kept throwing away. When you have the dirty dishes, people kept throwing. You dump out the food or whatever in the napkins into the trash.
mhm.
But I think what people kept doing is they kept doing that and putting the silverware in the trash.
Oh, yeah, like that.
And he was like pissed about it. And he had like bought these like trash can lids with the magnets or some shit to like catch the silverware. And he's like, and then he was bitching about, he was like, there's people who are having to wait like a full, 2 minutes or 3 minutes or whatever. He's like, do you know how long that is? And he made everybody sit there with the timer and just shut the fuck, like just quiet for like like 2 minutes or something, which is a long time. And I didn't feel bad because it was like, I just started here. Like, this isn't my problem. But I thought it was funny, like seeing your dad just like trying to get these people in order.
Yeah, my dad. That's one thing I've always said about him. Like, my dad's the hardest working dude I've ever met. Like, and he holds people to a high standard. Maybe I'm not sure how much these days because he's older, but back in those days, man, that was like even as a coach because he coached sports and stuff. He's coached me, and it's like he's like one of those people. Are you going to be all in or not? Type mindset. Like, if you're not going to be all in, then get the fuck out here. Like, I'll get somebody that wants it more than you.
Now look at you. You're doing the same shit at the visiting these plants, bro.
Well, yeah. I mean,
just your dad.
Get your shit together, and I won't have to come here.
It's a full circle, dude.
That's what I told a few people. Like, if you're telling me everything's fine, you got these people, I'll just do why am I here? Apparently I'm here because the freaking regional president thinks your freaking plant's a piece of shit and needs some help. So that's why I'm here.
Talent's rare, bro. It's hard to get good talent.
Yeah. That's why I say I'd rather take the hardworking person like a Tom Brady, I guess, if you want to go back to him, who will outwork 100 something other more people that are picked in front of him that are more talented, supposed to be the next big thing. Oh man, the potential is through the roof. But then I also think that's like boosting people up like that is always, it's not necessarily a good thing because they hear it through high school, college, especially in sports, I'd say, because to make a top college team, you're at one point one of the best high school players, if not the best high school player in your state. So you're being just fueled with all this stuff. Oh man, you're going to go pro since you're like 13. Go to college, same thing. You're top recruit in whatever sport. And then you get drafted the first round, second round, whatever it is. People are still filling your head with all this stuff. Oh man, I got all this great talent, all great potential. And some people, I think, just think because everything's been given to them up to that point.
You think they're not working as hard because of that?
Yeah, I think it happens to an extent. I'm not saying everybody that doesn't reach their potential, but I think that in some cases, I imagine that's part of it. Because now you're just thinking, oh, I show up to this team and the coach is going to play me because I'm the first pick. But how beneficial is that to the actual person? I don't know.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. I always thought that was kind of an interesting thing because I don't know. I've seen it myself just from working with people. I'm sure you've seen it throughout your times traveling around, meeting people, and there's.
Well, really, the answer is just most people they're kind of mediocre, you know, and there's very few talented people at all.
Well, I think people think there's something wrong with being mediocre. There's nothing wrong with being a little bit.
I mean mediocre in all sense, Travis. I don't mean like hardworking and mediocre. I mean they're just lazy and suck. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think. Well, I guess what I was trying to say is like
You're trying to say hardworking, but they're not as talented. I think that's great.
Yeah,
but even those people are rare. There's not that many people. You met two of them. You met two of them in your trip.
Yeah.
How many people worked at that plant? You met two.
Oh yeah, exactly. You know, and I think that's and I think at the same time there's individuals that are maybe float in the middle a little bit that don't have all the talent, but they got some, and there's the individuals that they also kind of work hard, but not hard enough. Like they kind of just skate by. And I think some people think that's wrong. It's like, hey, it's not wrong. I'll even take that over somebody that doesn't do nothing. At least you're, because there's people that just don't do nothing, and it just trips me out, man. It's like, how are you still working? Like if I were the boss, I would have canned you. I would have found a reason to can you a long time ago.
Well, that's because their manager sucks too, dude.
Yeah, sometimes it's that too. It's a top down effect, right?
Yeah.
Where your manager's not there, or they hardly come in the office, so they don't give a shit. And then you're working, you're getting paid whatever. Maybe say they're even getting paid decent wage. Say you're getting paid like $50,000 a year. You're like, hey, that's not bad. I can afford rent, car, and shit like that. I'm doing pretty good. And my manager's never here to regulate what I'm doing. So why should I regulate the people that work for me? And then so on and so forth. And then somewhere in that no fuck given crew, there's the one person that's just like, dude, this is bullshit. Like I'm the only one trying to fix things. And then they leave, go somewhere else where people do give a shit. And your company's like,
you got the whole thing, Travis.
Yeah. Well, then people wonder why their companies suck. They're like, oh, how come we're always negative? How come we're negative this, negative that? It's like, well, because all the good people you give no voice to and they leave.
Yeah.
So you're stuck with the pile of shit.
Damn, Travis. 17 years later, listening to you just drop these pearls of wisdom about management, about work ethic, listening to Dad Jesse 2.0.
Maybe it's not. Maybe it's out of touch with reality a little bit. But
what do you mean? Don't give up, dude. You gotta have a little conviction. You just gave up. I'm giving you a compliment. You're giving up, bro. We need you all the way in.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. What do you want with this podcast? Tell me about this podcast, Travis. What interested you in the podcast?
Oh man, a bunch of things. Because I kind of did one with my friend before we did
I listened to him.
Yeah. I've always thought it'd be kind of cool just to do something like this. Even like it's a good way to catch up with folks, talk to different people. Like when's the last time I talked to you? Not saying it's like I can't just pick up a phone and be like, hey, bullshit for.
But I'm not your mom. You wouldn't call me.
But you know what I mean? I thought it'd always be kind of cool, and it's like one of those like why not do it type deals, like there's so many things. I've been one of those procrastinators. I've always had these ideas and things I want to do and then not do them. And I've thought about this year for a long time doing this, even before with my friend. And it's like, man, I should just do it.
But what made it a podcast? Like you listen to podcasts, or what's the deal?
Yeah, I listen to podcasts. Not as much anymore, but okay, thank you.
He's like, get out of my room, dude.
Oh, he's like, but not as much as I used to, I guess, in a sense. But
what podcast did you listen to?
When I first started listening, it was Joe Rogan way back in the day. I don't listen to him much now, just because I like him, but he got too political for me. Where it used to be really interesting, where he had like
Travis is trying to already put it out there that he doesn't endorse Joe Rogan's current stance. He doesn't want to get canceled.
Get canceled before I even get going.
Yeah.
But no, I like him. I every once in a while still listen to him. But his earlier stuff is what got me into podcasting. I thought that was cool. It's like, man, he's getting like dudes talking about freaking I don't know, just the most random shit, like hunting
Yeah.
with bows. He's talking with Cameron Haynes, and then he's talking to Neil deGrasse, and it's like, man, it's like the spectrum is just super wide. It's nobody else is doing that besides him, really. I mean, I'm sure there's other people that are doing it, but not to that level. Because everybody else seems to like really pick a specific thing and kind of just stick with it. They're like, oh, we're
Niche.
about politics, and that's it. All we do is politics. All we're doing hunting. All we're doing is baking. But it's kind of cool. That's what I liked about his earlier stuff. Now it's just trying to prove his point sometimes more than not. And it kind of, this is what kind of put me off on him lately. We had a recent one on there. I forget who it was. I forget the guy's name, but they were talking about like Atlantis and stuff like that. Like stuff like that's kind of fascinating. Mainly because
They're talking about what?
Atlantis, the lost city of Atlantis.
Like the lost city in the cartoon?
They're talking about some crazy stuff. Stuff like that.
Do you think Atlantis was real?
I don't know.
Into conspiracy theories.
I've never dug into it myself, but I wouldn't be surprised, I guess. I mean, the world's a big
place. What kind of answer is that, dude?
The world's a
big
big
straight up answer. Is Atlantis a thing? If Travis had to bet.
Yes, if I had to bet, probably, because the sea level's gone up a whole lot.
Because what?
The sea level's gone up a lot since those days. I mean, before Common Era, so it's like, I mean,
yeah,
you know, so who knows?
Okay.
You know, I'm a history person. I love history. That's what I went to college for. So it's like, shit like that fascinates me. The unknown. Like the whole one with Bob Lazar was super freaking awesome. Got me into like an alien kick there for a second. I was like, man, this shit's...
Oh my God. Travis, you're in the fucking wormhole here with all this conspiracy theory shit.
I don't know. It's not that like saying I would 100%.
Travis is like, I've seen a lot of planes. Okay, these aren't planes.
Not saying I would believe it 100%, but I wouldn't be surprised if some of the shit came out and it was like, true. But hey, I'm an open mind with stuff like that. I'm not.
You're very open-minded. I can see that.
I try not to, because I'd rather be open-minded and it be true and be like, oh my God, my whole fucking world's shook. I'd be like, oh damn, that's fucking crazy.
You'd be like, I was expecting this for years.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh,
it's fucking prepared.
Talking about it, I'm not too surprised. I'm like, shit. Now if they're like, I don't know, you know what I mean? But anyways.
How were the pilots when you were in the Navy doing the gas? Were the pilots nice?
Yeah, pretty nice. I mean, yeah, that's what I started doing was like fueling them. And I started getting in the fuel labs, and I'd go up there and like take samples occasionally. Amongst the other things that I would do was getting samples, but yeah, they're pretty cool. I mean, go up there, my little bottle, take a sample of fuel, make sure go test it, make sure it's not gonna fucking kill them. So that's pretty cool. They're not bad. They don't really communicate with you.
They're just like, this guy's just slave to me.
Yeah, you're an enlisted person. I'm a freaking officer, you know.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, cool. I'm 18 years old with no education and working on trying to save your life.
Yeah.
Make sure your life's in safe hands. Which I always thought was a crazy setup, especially in the Navy. It's like you got mechanics and all these 17, 18, 19-year-old kids working on multi-million-dollar pieces of equipment with very minimal training. Like I went to my A school, which is your training, for 3 months. So I got 3 months of training.
Yeah, they're putting you in charge of shit. They're letting you do stuff. And
people's lives are basically in my hands.
Yeah.
Like it's some crazy shit. Like it makes sense you have to have some intense training to fly a jet. It's like there could be some freaking regulation on more than 3 months of training. Give me like a year of school. So I go in there, I'm like, I know my shit. You know, go in there, I'm fucking winging it and running around on a flight deck. I'm like, I don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
He died today. But yeah.
I asked because Kelsey's brother just got his wings. He's a naval aviator. So we went to Corpus Christi and he was giving us a tour of all the, the planes and shit. And we went to the simulator. And so I was like, damn, dude, all the shit that has to go on, like all the things that you have to do to maintain this plane. And it's like, some of these planes cost billions of dollars. Like it's not just multi-millions.
Yeah.
It's like billions of dollars.
Yeah. I'm sure like billions of dollars. It's a, see, that's what's funny. Cause I have like a picture of my best friend. he's in the exhaust,
Mhm.
you know, he's like flicking off the camera.
Yeah.
It's like, man, it's kind of crazy. I used to draw smiley faces on them because
Yeah.
my gloves would get so covered in exhaust and gas and stuff, oil, and I draw smiley faces and I put like hash marks that, oh, this is how many times I've taken a sample from this one today.
Yeah.
Like, fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Why am I even touching this thing? So like realistically, like looking back as of now, 14 years, or yeah, basically 14 years later, like that's some stupid shit, man.
Yeah.
Like I can't believe people trust me with this.
I can't believe it either.
I can't believe it. Like damn, you know, it's like fucking just trying to get through the day over there.
Yeah.
Pack of smokes, a dip in, you're just running around. No training really, 3 months. Nothing prepares you to be on a flight deck with freaking jet.
What ship were you on?
I was on the Nimitz, which is funny because
Nimitz.
that's where they recorded the what do you call it?
The UFO?
The UFO. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, years before I was there, but it always cracks me up. I'm like, damn, I was on that ship.
Yeah. You could have seen one.
The first UFO experience videoed by the military, I was on that fucking aircraft years later.
Yeah.
Like, good job, Nimitz. Makes me proud. Now if I see, I'm sure people are like, oh, what the hell, man? Like, do you see anything? But yeah, pretty trippy. So, but dude, I started watching your video the other day with was it Netcom with the brain?
Oh, Nectome, yeah, the fucking brain preservation dude.
Dude, that is some trippy stuff, man.
Yeah.
Actually, it's really interesting. Part of it got me kind of thinking too, because I think you were talking about like kind of like the humanity. I think you kind of brought up something about like the humanity aspect of it. It's kind of, I mean, it is kind of a weird thing. Like the CEO, I forget his name, but he's like, you wait. You're waiting for them to like die so you can get a fresh brain.
Yeah.
It's kind of morbid.
Yeah.
But that's also kind of cool, I think.
Well, the idea is that all these fucking people are going to die anyways, right?
Yeah.
And so if you can, like, let's say I had cancer or something, if we waited till I died naturally, my body and my brain would be all fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
But if I just killed myself, like not shooting myself in the head, obviously, which would defeat the purpose. But if I somehow killed myself while my brain was still healthier, right? It's not all deteriorated and he could preserve it. That's better for the preservation.
And it was like getting this right. So what they're trying to, it sounded like what they're trying to do. I was even reading their website. I went to their website. I was like, it got me interested. I was like, I've never heard this before. So is it trying to like store memories and then copy them into something else?
So you should read, not to promote my own shit, you can just watch his talk, but you should read the post that I wrote earlier, which is a more of an explanation of what he's doing. Mm-hmm. But basically the idea is that right now, what he's working on, we can pretty accurately preserve brains so that sometime in the future, you could read the brains. And the analogy is that we weren't able to read DNA until like the 1990s, right? Mm-hmm. And it was like $1 billion right now. And for me to get my whole genome sequenced right now is $1,000 because the price has gone down. Just like how cell phones were expensive in the 80s, cell phones are super cheap now. Everybody has a cell phone now. So back in like the 1960s, they preserved the DNA of extinct, in San Diego, actually, the San Diego Zoo preserved the DNA of extinct species. But back then people could have gone like, what the fuck are you going to do with this? Like, we can't read this. Like, this is a waste of time. And so his argument is in the same way that right now we can read the DNA, he's trying to make it so that you can preserve the brains now. So that way in the future, you could read them and even simulate them. So like if I died and you preserve my brain, now this is a debate over whether this is me or not, right? That's another part of what we talked about. But you could run the brain just like a computer, and that person's just there. You can, as long as the brain is preserved, so you could read memories. If you had some sort of setup, or you could put them in when we have simulated environments or mind uploads. So the shit's crazy.
So would you also be able to make like new memories if you're uploaded into like somebody's brain, their memories in the computer? Now that computer is making new what do you call that, connections, or they're starting to fire off new neurons are flying.
Yeah. So it depends. Like it'd be like if you know, if you have an old game, it's like the game isn't changing, it's the same game. Yeah. But if you have something now where it's updating, you know, through the cloud or whatever. I'm using a bad analogy, but basically if you made a simulated person from that brain, they could form new memories. They could just be, it'd be like I came back from the dead. So like to you, if I died and then they brought back my brain, and then assume we're living in like a virtual world now, I would be the same person to you. You know what I mean? I'm acting the same way. It'd just be like, if you didn't know, I could be a different fucking person right now. I could be, you know, a revived person and just be like, oh, this is John. He's got the same memories.
Think this is kind of funny. Just it kind of reminds me of it's one of the Captain America movies, which is kind of funny because it's Marvel. But there's a Dr. Zola, I think is his name. And he's they plug into where like Captain America was made, or essentially made, you know, where they shot him up with all the juice. And they put in a USB, it turns on, and Dr. Zola pops up. He's from World War II. Yeah. He's like a mad scientist, but he's on a computer screen. He's like, oh, but my mind, like he talks about how his mind is still active, but it's obviously long gone now. Yeah. It's kind of what that's reminding you of. So like he said, I think he even says I uploaded my consciousness into like whatever. Mm-hmm. So now he's actually like a living conscious, even though he's no longer a body, but he can, like, he was turning off a computer screen, popping up on another computer screen. It's like he's living within the network that his mind is now connected to. It's kind of interesting. That, like,
well, I don't know if have you ever used VR? You know, where you strap on.
No, I haven't, but I feel like it'd be pretty cool to do.
Yeah. So if you think about like, it'd be like a more advanced version of World of Warcraft, but if you have VR and a virtual me would be in there, people in the future could, you know, it's speculated that you could just upload yourself into the computer when you have a mind upload, and then you could just live in there and you'd be like a normal person, but it's simulated. And when simulations get really good, you're not even going to be able to tell that it's simulated. It'd feel like when I'm drinking this water, it'd feel like I was drinking water.
Well, isn't like that reminds me of like a conspiracy theory, or like a whole theory, not really maybe conspiracy, but I've heard this before. I forget, this might have been, I don't think this is a Joe Rogan podcast, man. I can't remember who.
That we're in a simulation now, you mean?
Yeah, that we're in.
Yeah, one. And there's a perfectly.
How would we know that we're in one if we're in one type situation?
Yeah, and that's not conspiracy theory. It's like, because it's unknown. But the argument is that as we progress in technology, we can run simulations right now, right? Like we can make fake, you know, somebody could make a CGI type, you know, it's like you're watching a Marvel movie, everything is CGI.
Yeah,
that's like a simulation.
And stuff. You can holograms of like Tupac if you wanted to. You know?
Yeah. And so as it gets better and better, it's just like if you look at video game graphics, like when we were kids, it's like this shit is like terrible. Well, and nowadays it's like amazing.
Hair and
I mean, and so as it gets better, we're going to have better and better simulations. And then presumably we'd create simulations of real life, right? Like we could have a simulation of a city. We could have a simulation of like a small thing, you know, like The Sims, but like actually realistic. And so the argument is that what's the likelihood that we're the first civilization to get to that point that we're advanced enough? Because if there was a civilization before us that was advanced enough, they would make a simulation and we could be that simulation. It doesn't really matter either way for us because we're still experiencing this, but it's an interesting argument.
Yeah. Try to think. It's been a while since I watched all the Matrix movies, but it kind of feels like that's what the Matrix kind of is in a sense. If I remember right, like there's
exactly. And I brought up the Matrix. In the interview. Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen that part of it yet. I think I'm like an hour.
It's a long video.
Yeah. Like this one's gonna be. Yeah. But it was like, it was about like an hour or so in. And that's what made the way you just said it made me think of the Matrix, because I watched the newest one, but going back to like I think it's like the second or third one when he meets the creator and he's like, this is the first version, you know, this is, and he says like the sixth copy. He even says like, oh, you're different than the other. So it is kind of that same. How do you? So
it's exactly like that, where Neo, like in the first one, they're all living in the world. That's the world, right? That's how it is. And then he realizes, oh shit, this is all fucking fake. Like when he's with Morpheus and Morpheus is like, what is real? You know, is real what you can say? Because presumably everything that you experience, like when you're seeing me talk to you, it's like the light, the photons are hitting the camera, that's going through the fucking cables and coming out to your computer screen. You're hearing it, but you're not actually seeing me. Even if you're looking around in the computer, you're not seeing me. It's like the light is hitting it. It's going into your brain and your brain is processing it. So if you can hack that, where you can figure out how to manipulate the signals to send it in the brain, like in the Matrix when they've got like, you know, the cable and they're going like this. presumably you could just simulate all that. And so the Matrix is a great example where it's like, oh, this is the fifth one, you know, or the sixth one.
Yeah. Huh.
So it's trippy.
Yeah, I gotta finish that one because I was like, man, because I was like I said, I went to your stuff again, I started reading some stuff again, and then I saw that, I was like, man, I gotta check this out. This is fucking interesting. And it is a trip to think about, I guess. Because I've thought about that before when I first heard, like, what if we are in a simulation? How would we know? Kind of like you were saying, like even like the whole thing. Well, man, we could be a pimple on a dog's ass. Like, how would anybody know? How would we know that that's what we actually are if we were living this life, like you're saying? So, and I have to finish the rest of it because does he go crazy about the Matrix? I'm guessing.
Well, I think we talked briefly about but we're talking about like a lot of it is what makes us us. So like I go through the thought experiment of like, if you could take a transporter to Mars and the transporter like copies your atoms, you know, and disassembles you and reassembles you over there, would you be down to do that? And so I would not be down because I don't see that. It's me in the sense that it's a copy, but it's not me in the sense that it's experiencing it. And so some people they're down to take the teleporter to Mars. This is a famous thought experiment. So some people are down and some people aren't down. I'm not down. He's down. So a lot of it is a debate over why I'm not okay with it and why he is. And so there's a lot of these types of things, like, would you get yourself preserved? You know, like me, I want to be preserved. I don't want to die. It's stupid. But some people aren't down. Yeah. Some people are confused about, you know, I get religion. Like I mean, I'm not religious, obviously, and I think it's dumb in a sense, but I get, if you think that it's all taken care of, I don't need to be preserved. I understand that.
Yeah, I'd say I'm in the same sense because I'm not overly religious at all. I think it's
you're this half-ass shit. This is like on the fence stuff.
I think it's kind of cultish. And I actually really think it's a cultish. And it's just the cult that's stronger than any other cult out. If you talk about Christianity, it's like the strongest cult.
But do you believe in a God in all these things?
Yeah, see, I do. But I think like the whole aspect of going, I mean, not even going to the church part. I'm not even going to just say Christianity because I've always brought this up. Like civilizations in general have similar stories when it comes to gods and how they've arrived and their like deities.
Their origin story.
Yeah, their origin stories are so identical. It's like, so even if there is a God, I believe there is, maybe there isn't, whatever.
So you don't believe in the Christian God, you just believe in a God.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, you know, I like to believe that there is something out like greater, but if there isn't, whatever. I'm not gonna fucking cry about it. But it's like but you bring that up to a hardcore churchgoer, they're like, oh, that's blasphemy, you know? It's like, dude, all these stories, even if they're slightly different, are so identical. They're copies. It's somebody telling you a story and then another person telling another person's story in the ear. It's like if you did in a class.
Yeah, you're talking about like the telephone argument.
Yeah, telephone argument. That's what it
and
is.
How if you write down all the things about Jesus, you know, like born of a virgin, all these things, and then you look at Mithras and all these other, then it's like, this is pretty similar.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's mythology. And that's always it's like how do the old religions or original religions of humanity who determined those are mythologies? The current existing ones are the truth. You know, it's like it's all a mythology because we don't know. Nobody freaking. You're
going straight to hell, Travis.
I might.
Straight to hell.
I might.
That's what I'm hearing.
I might be there.
Horrible. You might be there.
I'm the nicest person in there. I'm like,
they're like, why is this fucking guy here?
Yeah, you know, he just said he wouldn't be, you know, he believed in him, but now
God is like, did you hear that fucking podcast though, where he was saying that shit? He was calling me a myth. Are you serious right now?
Mythology, man. I'm not even really saying I'm Zeus and I'm fucking Odin.
Like, it's like, fuck this guy. Straight to hell.
They're all the same. Realistically, though, they all have very similar stories.
Yeah, there are a lot of similar myths.
Yeah, there's a lot of rising to the grace of whatever god it may be, and also hell. And they also have like similar stories where like at one point they're like either really good friends or brothers or whatever, and one damned the other one to like the underworld. Like, man, it's all the same. Like, imagine being Greek and coming here, you'd be like, man, this is like, what did you guys do to my story? It's like,
Well, yeah. Why are you fucking it up, dude?
Yeah, like we're fucking Hercules. Hercules
Yeah.
is Zeus. What? Or Hercules isn't Jesus?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. That's just my opinion. It's a cult.
Wow.
Anytime you get a bunch of people together and I don't know, like candles and shit, I think
You're alienating all your listeners, dude.
probably.
They're like, oh.
Or I'm giving them a nugget to think about.
They're like, no, I'm not thinking about it.
Yeah.
Unsubscribe.
Well, it's like one of those sensitive topics are just like politics nowadays. It's all correlated somewhat. Where you can bring up, like you said, if I tell somebody, "Oh, my race is American," oh my god, there we go. It's like,
yeah,
this guy, Trump flag and flying out his truck and stuff.
Yeah,
like, oh, actually,
the people see some of the circle of the people that I roll with. They're gonna listen to this and be like, "Oh my god, who's this fucking racist he's talking to?" Jesus.
Probably. They might.
Can you believe this?
Some people probably think the same about me. They're like, this guy's a freaking idiot, man. We're not American, you know? It's like, okay, and then what are we? Just saying. I've been
half Mexican.
Yeah.
Is your dad full Mexican?
I think so. I mean, he was born in Mexico, so
okay.
Technically, you'd say he is. But I think his mom's Italian. Was from Italy.
Yeah. I remember him telling me about it.
Yeah, I think his mom's from Italy and his dad's from Mexico.
Damn, dude, we should next time I'm in the Valley, we should record an in-person podcast, then get your pops into it.
You'll love it.
Talk about old times.
Oh yeah. That'd be a trip.
Yeah.
I could picture him on in person. Yeah, it wouldn't be necessarily on camera, so it'd be funny.
Yeah. Well, we'd film it though.
Yeah, we'd film it. He'd be fun. You bring up Tom Brady, he's gonna
yeah. I'll wink at you and I'll be like, hey, what do you think about Tom Brady?
Oh man, he'll get a hard on. I know he'll.
And then it's like
he'll be like
6 hours later, you know.
So when Tom Brady was a baby, like, how do you know this? How do you know this stuff? I called it. I researched his family. That's what you probably. God, dude's obsessed with them.
Damn, dude. We covered a lot of stuff, Travis.
Yeah, I think it's a good one. Good start, man.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping to keep it rolling.
Yeah.
Maybe we could do a few of these throughout the length of however long this lasts.
I'd love to come back.
Hopefully it lasts. I mean, there's lots. Yeah, we still got a bunch of stuff.
Well, stop being fucking lazy, dude.
I'm busy life, bro.
What'd you stop for before?
We just couldn't get the schedules working out. It was just.
Then you just were like, fuck it.
Yeah, it just stopped happening. So I was like, all right. You know, it's funny because one of the guys my old bosses, I brought up to him, and he just started his own trunking company. I asked him if he wanted to come on eventually. He said, yeah. He's like, no, you just gotta say fuck it. He's like, one night I was drunk. He's like, I was just like, fuck waiting for other people. I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? And I was like, damn, that's straight, dude. Like,
yeah.
You gotta stop waiting for other people to. I don't know why people do that, why I even did, but it's like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna do it. You know. So
it's an honor to be invited, Travis.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for coming.
And it's good to catch up, dude.
It was. I mean, 16 years later. Fucking nuts.
Yeah. We gotta hang out in person too.
Yeah, we could do that if we're definitely up in NorCal at the same time. Well, you'll be in Frisco, so
yeah. I'll come down to the Valley. I'll slum it. I'll go visit your dad. I'll be like, give me a horse. I want to ride a horse right now. This prize pony.
Oh man, that'd be fun. That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Horses freak me out, man. But yeah, that'd be cool.
Horses like boring fucking animal. I don't get why people like horses.
It's a big animal. Like I don't trust them. You know, that's a big.
They could just kick the shit out of you, dude.
Yeah, you bite your fingers off or whatever. You can give them a carrot, bite your fingers off, or turn around, kick you and.
Thinks it's a carrot. Yeah.
Kick you and break your body in half. Like, no, how strong a horse is. Like, I don't think people realize how strong a horse is. Like when you're up.
Most people haven't been by an animal, dude. I mean, when you get up close.
Yeah. Or
like a cow, it's like this thing is fucking huge.
That's a big animal, and horses are jacked. Like, dude, they're huge. Like
they're drinking a lot of beet juice. I'll tell you that. They're not drinking beer. They're drinking beet juice and vitamins.
You have that healthy heart. That cardiovascular system is just pow, pow,
impeccable, dude.
Blood pressure super low.
HRV just off the charts, dude. Just perfect.
Oh shit. But all right, man.
All right, Travis.
Well, appreciate
Thanks
it.
for having me on. It's been great catching up.
Yeah, it's been awesome, dude.
Yeah. Let me know when I'm invited to the next one. We'll be talking about some more deep shit.
Depending how this goes, it could either be a couple of weeks or it could be like never.
What do you mean how it goes? Stop being lazy, dude. Stop waiting for other people.
I know. No, thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
All right, dude.
All right.
I'll finish watching yours with the brain guy.
Yeah.
That show's cool.
Part 2, you can tell me what your thoughts are if you take the transporter or not.
Thinking about it already. I might actually, I probably would.
Get your ass in the train. That's you, dude. I could hang out with Travis too. That's fine.
Shit. Never know.
Damn, dude. All right.
All right, man.
Have a nice night.
Me too. Catch you later.